his ransom insurance because he got kidnapped, like, literally kidnapped.
What happens if you like reach your max for your ransom insurance?
He gave me all these strategies. But ever since then, my business has also doubled in volume each month. And I started seeing results.
Like my Visa experience was fucking whack, dude.
Tell me about it. I'm curious about this. How does that work?
One, I think I was molested. Apparently, where was it? Europe has put regulations on Apple and they're not allowed to do their new dodgy shit now. They have to go back to having like a normal auxiliary cable, apparently.
Really?
Yeah. Rumors on the streets. I probably should Google
Apple?
that.
We can't regulate Apple. That's not healthy for the world. We got to leave
Probably is. But I'm all for it. Like, fuck,
just kidding.
stop a bit of world domination or at least put a little dent in it. Shit. But yeah. So anyone who's listening, it's only been a minute. So if you've checked out, what the fuck you doing? Hello. I am here. This is my first ever threesome with two guys. This is this is weird. But so I've got here Steve, Shane. We just fucking randomly met yesterday.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm gonna have to sit back because I'm in a weird angle here because, whatever. All right, cool.
Crunch Fitness, man. That $11.99 membership, $11.99 a month.
Yeah, well, they were charging me $26 a month for no fucking reason for like 9 months.
Really?
I just got a refund literally today after chasing it for like 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the old GM
$11.99.
there, she was not good. Did you ever meet her?
Who?
The GM that was there. Oh, I can't name her and shame her, but
I don't know, man.
I mean, I probably should.
I try not to look at girls at the gym.
Oh, you wouldn't look at her, don't worry. No, it was bad. Like I signed up on a $20 a month one because it's like you can bring a friend with you, which is dumb. When I thought about it, I'm like, it's $20 a month to bring a friend with you, or it's $10 a month per person. I'm like, just get 2 separate ones. But so I did that. 2 months into it, my wife is like, she's pregnant, so she can't go to the gym. So I go, hey, can I drop it down? No worries. 9 months later, when she goes to sign back up, we realize we've been getting charged like $26 a month, thinking I'm getting charged 10.
I get you.
I was like, what the fuck? And I just got it finally back because she left, because I followed her up for months. Yep. Don't worry. We got it.
Wow.
Yeah. Anywho's, random just chat with you guys was cool as shit.
Yeah.
I think I chewed your ears off more than anything, so I apologize for, in retrospect for that.
Nah, not at all.
But
It's a good conversation. We were like, who the hell is this guy doing all these muscle ups on like the highest bar at the gym?
Not muscle ups, just muscle pulls. Just
Yeah.
over the bar.
they're fun, man. You got to do more of them.
I'm getting into it, man.
I say it's all in the abs. Like it's all in the core. Whereas most dudes try and do this shit. And then I shadow over CrossFit, not realizing you do CrossFit.
I should have a
great.
CrossFit too. It's all right. I shit on CrossFit a lot.
Look, it has its purposes.
It's a workout, man.
Their
I've
muscle ups
challenged
are trash.
All my, yeah, I know. All my friends that give me shit about it, it's like, dude, you go do an 8-minute workout. You're crawling on the floor. You can't finish it. It's like, okay, like talk shit, but you can't do the fucking workout. So
Yeah. Oh, I'm not shitting on like the actual stuff they do is fucking insane. But I'm not a like, yeah, let's go kind of guy. It's just not my shtick.
I think a lot of people would do benefit from group workouts. It's like these people go, your average typical person goes to LA Fitness, Crunch Fitness, and like they're on their phone the whole time. It's like, dude.
Yeah, guilty.
I did too. And they're just unmotivated. I was unmotivated. I couldn't go. I'd get a 30-minute workout in, and then like it was 5 minutes of work. But it's like if you're in a group setting, you benefit from that. It's like, you go in there and I'm going to whoop everyone's ass if I got 20 people around me and we start at this time and end at this time, we have a workout that we're going to do it. I'm going to whoop their asses. But on my own, dude, I'll stray away.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit of the opposite. Like I could do solo workouts easily. Or working out with like a friend or two. But sometimes it gets pretty distracting with the conversations that go on at the gym.
Oh, 100%.
And stuff. But solo workouts are kind of my thing and doing the traditional gym. But CrossFit, like... I'd probably die during one of those workouts for sure.
It's getting a lot better. Like when it first came out, because I used to be a personal trainer back in Australia, and I was like, every time someone would leave to go to the gym, to go to a CrossFit gym, I'm like, I'll see you in 6 months. And they come back, yeah, I got injured. I'm like, yeah, because there's like, I mean, there are places that do correct technique, but the problem is, it's like, it takes time to get that body awareness, and the problem is it's like it's going to take you 6 months to get body awareness, maybe, but then you mix it in with like the let's go mentality, and your shitty habits turn back on. It just, you can't help it. And so I'm always like, hey, welcome back.
I go to a gym in Bonita Springs, like downtown Bonita, and I mean, your average age, I'm the youngest, one of the youngest people there. It's mostly fitness. It's like, it's mostly people that are in their 30s, 40s, 50s. Like, they go for a workout. Like, they don't have the ego, so there's literally just no ego at the gym.
That's
just
good.
Pretty cool.
I mean, it is Southwest Florida, where like the average age is 67 or something.
It's up there.
It is.
It's up there, man.
What do you think about it coming from Texas?
I mean, I kind of like it. It's a chill atmosphere down here. Like, I'm from Houston, and Houston is really congested. Big
Make sure
city.
you guys pull them real close to you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, so close you feel like you're about to lick it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, like, it's an awesome change of pace over here. It's nice and chill, not too much traffic. Houston, there's traffic everywhere.
Is it? It's a major city, huh?
I think 4th largest city in the U.S.
Really?
Yeah, and it's growing all the time. But I mean, I like it down here. I like the coastal vibe and the chill vibe and stuff like that. So I could definitely get like a second home here for sure.
Second home, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
How often are you down here?
Well, this is my first time actually.
It won't be your last.
Nah, definitely not.
It feels like it's getting younger down here, slowly. But everything's getting fucking expensive, so it's getting older again.
Yeah.
Well, I went to FGCU, and born and raised in Ohio. I went to Ohio State, transferred to FGCU, and everyone stays. I mean, all of my friends, the majority of my friends stay down here. They moved to Bonita, they moved to Estero. Like, it's the age is not getting older. Like, there is an influx of people. They're not. When we graduate, we don't leave.
It is. Well, it's also hard to leave, especially if you've gone to college. You guys call it college, right? It's not uni.
University.
You guys call it uni?
I love it calling it university.
It's uni. Yeah, we call it uni.
Yeah, either
we
way.
even we're like, fuck that. Everyone's saying university. That's what university. That's like 4 or 5 syllables.
Yeah, too many syllables.
Fuck that. Uni's enough. But yeah, I think once you got your friends down here too, it's like, I mean, shit, you're not gonna leave. Like, you've left your friends in another state to come here to build friends in your, early 20s. It's hard building friends again. Like, me coming over here in my early 30s, I'm like, fuck, this is gonna be an interesting thing. See how I make friends in my 30s. Because
How's it been?
So far, so good, man. I'm not that guy though. I mean, shit, I started a podcast to meet people, so like it's turning out pretty good so far. But yeah, it's good. It's just different because everyone, I think a lot of people start getting on their track of life. So it's like I'll see people in more like tiny spurts. What I'd love, like my goal in life would be like what you see with people that they've got like their 5, like their solo or silo of people, and they're with them like a shitload of times, and then they're building shit together. But it's like that fucking takes time. You don't just be like, all right, we've got good friends, and then shit times happen a year into it, and they're like, fuck you, man. Like, because there's no loyalty. So that'd be like my dream thing, and I'm just slowly building that. But met a shitload of people so far. Like, you're already following me, which is hilarious. Like, for context of anyone listening to this, when I met Steve at the gym, I was just like, oh yeah, he asked what my Instagram was, and he's like, what the fuck? I'm already following you.
That was
this
a lot down
podcast,
here.
man.
It is a small world down here, dude. I mean, it is a
is.
small world down here. It's a small town feeling I never had. I wanted to be a farmer my entire life, just a country boy farmer. I wasn't. I grew up in a rich white kid school, and I moved to Florida, and I found it, dude. I moved to Bonita Springs, and here it is. It's absurd.
That is
You go to the bar, you see. I can go to Lansdowne, any of the 3 or 4 bars around here. See at least one person I know, went to school with, haven't seen in a year or two, but like we have mutual friends, like we know of each other. It's wild. I've never had that in my life.
Really? That's actually true. I didn't have it until I worked in the city in Sydney. So when I grew up and I didn't work, like I would rarely see anyone. Sorry, when I did work in the city, because I lived 20 minutes out. So I'd work, I'd see everyone, then I wouldn't see anyone anymore. Then I got a gym as a personal trainer in probably the biggest gym in the area, and I couldn't go anywhere. I was like, see, I do sometimes, but it was a little bit too much where it was like people saw everything I did, and I was like, fuck off. Whereas, but I mean, again, when I was chatting to you guys, and then Vinny walks up, I'm like, "Fuck, he looks familiar." I was like, "Blake," I'm like, "Hey."
And then you guys live 2,000 miles away, and you also knew Vinny, the guy that walked up.
Yeah.
We all four mutually knew each other.
Yeah, and I
wild.
didn't recognize him at first either. He was like Shane, and I was like, "Hey, bro, like,
Buddy!"
what's up?" Yeah, and I was like, I recognized him though. I just like by his Instagram handle.
Well, that's how he said to me. It was like, clear the mortgages or whatever. And I was like, that's right.
Yeah, dude, and that's the power of content.
Yeah, 100%. Well, it's also like, I said this because I chatted to him after. I was like, he's skinnier than he looks on social media. Like, it definitely adds 10 pounds. I was like, dude, you're way more ripped. Like, what the fuck? Like, your face is skinnier. You got bigger biceps, you know. This ain't the guy that I saw give me mortgage advice. But, yeah, no, so the reason I actually was intrigued, one, we got along well, but it was cool to see people already doing the content on social media that I fucking preach all the time to people. Because I mean, we were chatting beforehand, and it's funny how many times you tell people you should do this, and like, yeah, you're 100% right, and then they don't do shit. Despite it's like there's so many. It doesn't matter who I create content for, they're all seeing results. And then people still are doubtful, and I wanted to have someone on who's doing content that isn't doing it with me to explain, like you were saying, how your thing's grown. You know what? Rather than me like paraphrase it, tell me what you've done, and then we'll come to Steve as well.
Yeah, so I started creating short form content like Instagram Reels, TikToks in August of last year. And so not too long ago. And luckily I was trained by someone in our industry who kind of just blew up with it. So when I first started, actually, I didn't have any of the strategies. So I was doing all the wrong things, you know, like starting the video with an introduction, for instance, instead of a hook, and just like little things like that. And so then when I learned from the mentor, he gave me all these strategies, and I started implementing those strategies, much like the strategies that you and I were talking about before. And I started seeing results. I started out with about 500 followers last year on Instagram, and then it grew to 22,800 or something like that.
Yeah, that's good.
Over the course of about 6 months. And it was just from, you know, implementing those strategies and just doing it consistently. And so ever since then, my business has also doubled in volume each month from last year. I've already closed as many loans as I did last year in the first, you know, half of the year. And I've met so many more people as well because of the content, because of just the exposure factor there. It pushes it out to so many people that you would never be able to get in front of had you not made that 15 to 30 second video. And on top of that, now I'm teaching realtors in my market how to do the same strategies. And I've been able to get in front of over 150 so far from 5 classes. And the ones that are actually implementing these strategies.
In-person classes.
Yeah, in-person classes. And so the ones that are actually implementing these strategies consistently are starting to see results too.
Yeah.
It works. You just have to work it.
Yeah, and it's funny, the ones that do it, which is, it's so weird, especially, I mean, you guys do mortgages. I can't remember if I mentioned that already. But it's like realtors. I've done stuff for charities. They all are stuck in what worked fucking 10 years ago. And they tell you that. I mean, even with billboards, they'll probably pay for a billboard before video content.
I have friends that pay for billboards. It's like, dude,
It's so silly.
I can't.
You're on the same thing as me. I'm like, what the fuck?
Like, it's not a bad idea to do the billboard, but it's like you're ignoring this thing called the internet, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I usually tell people, I'm like, so say you're on the 75. All right, how often are you on your phone? How often you're on the 75? Which one are you on more? Dude, are you on the 75 when you go to Texas? No. Are you on the 75 when you go to Australia? No. Am I on the internet? Yes. So, like, why wouldn't you?
You want to know why? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you exactly why. And I've told realtors, I'll tell a classroom of realtors this, and they all agree. They know deep down inside, they know, because you write a check to a billboard, a person every month. You write a check. This is This is hard. This is effort that you have to put in. You get to shoot the video, get the camera right, get the tripod, run to Best Buy an hour before you're going to do it and get a mic because you have the wrong hookup. And then you have to get edited. And you have to figure out how to get the video to your editor. First of all, you have to find the editor. Then you have to figure out how to get the video to the editor. And then you have to get the editor to get it back to you. And then you have to come up with a caption and then actually post it. Like there's so many more steps rather than just cutting a check.
Yeah,
It's
but
just
you can cut a check for other people do all those stuff.
People don't realize that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like because that's what we were talking about before. Like, because I was intrigued about what you pay for the editor, and it's funny because I know I'm fucking cheap, and people still in this area like, huh? Like it's offensively cheap. Where everyone I speak to, they're like my mate in LA, he's like, dude, I was charging literally 5 times what you charge, and I'm like, yeah, but it's like I said, it works so much and so well. Like the fact you knew me before anything else was because of the internet. But
I will not have a conversation with someone of if it works. Like if you're trying to, if you got your tunnel vision on, you're decided it's not going to work. I won't talk to you about it. I'll be your friend, but I won't talk to you about it.
Yeah, I don't try and convince them. But so with your business, Steve, what have you noticed with the content? Does it help with you, or is it a different thing to what Shane's experienced? All right, so this is a quick ad break. First one I've done in here, it's because I finally got a sponsor, and that sponsor is me. A lot of people have been asking me, Blake, what is it you do? They think I do a podcast and that's all I do. But the reality is I actually create content for businesses on social media that will actually build a proper relationship with your audience instead of it just being pretty stuff. Because the reality is I don't do content for you. I do content for your customers. One major thing I've noticed in the Southwest Florida area is that there's a lot of great videographers, cinematographers. There are some great ones around here. But what is missing is the way in which they create that content to communicate with the right audience for your company, whether it's air conditioning, whether it's roofing, it could even be real estate. They're not leading with what is going to interest the customer. Instead, they're leading with what interests the company. The problem is now, though, with that, if you're talking about yourself, you're going to miss out on actually reaching the people that are going to buy your shit. So if you want to find out a little bit more information about how your business can reach the right people, hit the link in the description of this podcast. It'll say skymediahouse.com, or hit me up on Instagram at I'm Blake Doyle. Slide in my DMs. And I'll get back to you to show how you can actually reach the right people for your company so that you can build a relationship with the customers and make sales a lot easier, because there's not many people doing it in this area. Now let's get back to the show.
So mine is, everyone's like, oh, 80% business, 20% personal. It's like, there's no formula.
Oh no, fuck the formula.
My formula is literally whatever works. I'm 90% personal. I am Steve. He's the crazy kid that does fishing and diving and hunting, and he does mortgages. That's just how it came to be. And dude, I tried my entire life. I'll do a brief synopsis of the last 8 years of my life in 2 minutes. I was a fat, weird kid with no friends in high school. And then I got on the wrestling team. Started wrestling, and my buddy, I tried copying my first friend, because he was like big honcho, like argues with everyone. He's always right. Like wants to argue with everyone about everything. And I tried copying him, and I was failing at life, dude. I was trying to make friends, and I would try to come off with this vibe, and it's just like it wasn't my vibe. And then I started being funny. I started being a goofball, and like my life it was just easier. It was no longer forced. And it's like, wow, you can't copy someone. You literally can't copy anyone. You're going to be miserable. And then you just be yourself, and it's like, wow, how easy was that?
Mm. And you put that into your content as well for the world to see, and that translates for business as well, or?
So I moved down here. I didn't know a soul down here in Florida. I was trying to be a farmer. I was trying to be a farmer, and I was like, Mom, Dad, this Ohio thing isn't working out. And I realized that farmers don't make any money, and it's really hard to do. So my parents had a condo in Venice, which is like an hour and a half north. So I'm like, Mom, Dad, what if I went to this university down here? What if I went to university in Florida and lived at your condo and commuted to FGCU? And they're like, all right, do it. I'm like, you're okay with this? So I broke up with my girlfriend. I literally
Shit, you really just tore everything off, huh? Fuck you, bitch. You're out of here.
my first girlfriend, broke up with my girlfriend, passed my LO test to become a mortgage lender, passed it within like a week. And I'm terrible at taking tests. I can't believe I passed it. And I moved down here. And this is where content comes into play. I did not know a soul down here. I was going to commute from my parents' condo. I DM the FGCU Spearfishing Club. I'm like, hey man, you guys look like you do some cool shit. You like spearfish with like a spear, like it looks pretty cool, man. And I'm big into fishing and hunting. I didn't know what spearfishing was. So I DM'd them, no response for a month. I was living in my parents' condo. A month later, Eric, the president, DMs me back. He's like, yo, man, you got to hit up Wesley. They just kicked out the roommate. They need a roommate. Hit up Wes, moved in with Wes and Mikey. And these guys ran the spearfishing club. Like these guys, like Wes has the world record black grouper free diving from like 120 foot. Killed this 100 some pound grouper free diving on one breath of air. Like he's a world class spearfisherman. So I started living with these guys, and I all of a sudden I get in the spearfishing club, and I had 40 friends. It's like I would have been living at the Reef, a little university like right by FGCU, the Reef. I would have had a random roommate. I would have had no friends. I would have had some roommate that has no interest with me, what I do. And it's like that one DM literally changed the outlook of my entire life down here. Like I had a tribe of people that like doing the same shit that I do from one DM. And I'm like, Gary V might be onto something. Because I saw his videos and I'm like, you know what, this guy, if you can do this, if I can make friends through this, then I can probably make it with business.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, that's how, like, I don't know what I was telling you guys, but it's like, that's how I reached out to like Josh Marzuko and other people now too. It's like, I'm saying no to more people than I am saying yes to getting on the podcast. But it's because of that social proof. It's like, it's like people love talking about themselves. We all do. Like I get on this so I can hear myself speak too. Like we're all guilty of it. But the fact now that I can literally just reach out to anyone, and it's like they go to my, like, obviously if someone randomly DMs you, you're gonna be like, who the fuck is this person? And you go to their page.
You know instantly if they're a spammer or not. You instantly know if they're fake or not.
You can
Within
also
3
see
seconds.
who they are as well, and that's the issue with a lot of people in even their business page. It's a lot of photos. Like a photo, I can't tell who you are. I don't know who you are. I can't build a relationship. But when it's a video, the videos can be strategic too, which is like, all right, what's my goal? I want to entertain them. When I entertain people, they're going to probably like you a little bit more, hopefully, unless you're a dick. But, you know, it's the same with like what you guys do with like what you do. You're more business leaning on your content.
Yeah, a bit more educational, informational content. We call it like infotainment.
I call edutain. That's good.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, and it's like the type of content that I'm doing is basically like my why behind it was just like I wanted to teach people the things that I wish I would have known sooner, you know, before I got into mortgage. So teaching them all the tips, tricks, and hacks and the ways that you can get into a home, build generational wealth. Like that's what I wanted to share with people because they don't teach this stuff in school.
Yeah.
You know, like they don't teach it anywhere. Not enough people are talking about it. So that's the type of, you know, the value-based content. That's kind of what I lean more towards. So it's a little less personal. Like it's funny how we have two different type of styles of content.
Couldn't be more opposite. But literally couldn't be more
yeah,
opposite.
literally. But like it both work. It's just like whatever works for you. And it's all about your authenticity too, like you were saying. It's different with video, you know, because with a picture, you're not, you can't like, you see their face, but you can't hear them speak, you know, and you can't see their body language too when they're communicating with you, which is such a huge part of communication. So video, you know, is literally one of the easiest ways to build rapport with people. That's why when you see someone's page and then you meet them in person, like when I met Vinny, it's like, it's kind of like we already knew each other, you know?
Yeah. It's like a fast track. That happened to me even before I was doing stuff like this. We vlogged. Like obviously my wife, she's from here. I'm not from here. And, you know, she was living with this guy on the other side of the world, and her family, like they all live within a 20-minute radius. She was a 26-hour flight radius. Like, but we vlogged the whole, like a chunk of the relationship. It was like 1 to 3 YouTube videos a week.
Vlogged each other or vlogged publicly?
Like, well, like vlogging on YouTube. Like we have our own channel and everything. We don't do as much now just because it's so time consuming to edit them. Like we did, one of the last ones was our birth video. That's at like 65,000 views or something on YouTube. And yeah, the thing was though, when I went to West Virginia for the first time, I didn't introduce myself once. It was just like, hey, like I was asking who they were, but they knew everything about me, you know, which made it a lot easier to, you know. But that was an example of, again, like when I met Vinny yesterday, it was straight into conversation. It wasn't, what do you do? You know, like, oh, do you know these people? It was just like, we were having a conversation on, like I'd known him for at least a couple of weeks, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And how does that translate with like, when people see your content, they reach out to you, do you find that there's less questions you have to answer, or is it like it opens up more of like intrigue or a bit of all over the shop?
Well, so, you know, people do business with people that they know, like, and trust, right? And so with video, people can kind of get to know you and see if they like you through your authenticity. And you can build that trust by providing that value. Like when you're teaching people, when you're educating them, when you're like guiding them and protecting them with these types of transactions, and this is the biggest purchase of most people's lives and the most important purchase for most people's lives. So when you're giving them that value, you're building that trust. So it's kind of building rapport right off the bat. So when a person reaches out to me, you know, for a mortgage from Instagram, TikTok, or whichever platform, it's not like I have to sell them on anything. They're already sold because they already know who I am. They know the value that I can provide, and they kind of look to you as like an expert in your field. So then it's just like, you know, how can I help you? It's not like I have to pitch them on my services or on myself. They've already seen that value because they've probably watched like 5 or 6 videos before they've reached out to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it's building a relationship on their time, not yours.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so with your stuff, Steve, do you find a certain type of person reaches out to you because of your content?
My vibe is like spearfishing, diving, hunting, fishing, outdoors, like Florida man shit. And when I didn't know a lot of people down here, like everyone that I saw that had a fish picture in their Instagram profile, I just followed them. And then 2 years later, I sold them a mortgage. Not because I was talking about mortgages, but because we had the same common interest. And I obviously did mortgages. I put out some mortgage content, but it's like, it's not Steve trying to sell me. It's not Steve putting my name and my phone number in my Instagram story and saying, hey, call me if you have any questions.
They do that a lot.
I'm like, bizarre, dude.
Do you know, I draw a comparison of that to like dating. Like my whole shtick is it's like, your content is like building a relationship. It's the same as dating. Now, call me all the time, or like, if you need a realtor or if you need a mortgage guy, I'm like, that's just the fuckboy at a bar
100%.
going, I have a Porsche. It's like, okay, cool.
100%.
Versus, you know, what you're doing, which is more like, hey, I'm a nice guy. Like, I mean, I got these interests. And then the girl's like, okay, I like spearfishing too. And you're like, oh, and let's go home. And, you know what I mean? Like, you have more of a real relationship on that time with the person.
It's all people that reach out to me because they know they like my content. You interact with them through stories, and then by the way, interest rates are 2.5%. So Steve, like, can I refinance? And then you build rapport on the phone. You get on the phone and then you talk 20 minutes about fishing or spearfishing.
Yeah,
it's like, this is cool as shit. Like, like these would be my buds.
Yeah,
it's weird, dude.
That's good though. You want that.
It's awesome.
And it's. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. It's also like people that wouldn't have your interests probably won't reach out to you as much, but that it's more like, I mean, they're probably not going to vibe with you if they cold call you anyway. Because I've always said like it allows the person to see if they like you or not on their time.
When you try to be everyone's friend, you're no one's friend. And when you try to please everyone, you please no one. Like,
yeah.
At least I have this platform, and if you like it, cool. we're friends. If you don't, no worries, man. Unfollow me. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's just like girls. You don't vibe with a girl. Okay, see ya. Makes no
Yeah, I
sense.
don't miss the Tinder days. I'm not gonna lie. It's a lot easier not having a swipe. I got
Oh, yeah.
You guys single?
I'm engaged.
Okay,
So
you can't be on Tinder. You're on
I'm trying to
Tinder?
get married, dude.
You're trying to get married?
If you got any viewers that
Hinge, I hear, is good.
I hate it.
I think they all start off the same. Like they were all like finding love, and then they all become fucking. Like Tinder
I thought it was
started
just a
off.
hookup app, but like, yeah,
They all are.
Hinge is Hinge, but like the new hookup culture is like you just date or just date for a few months. It's like, okay, cool.
Well, my wife and I, we moved in together after less than 24 hours because I met her actually less than probably 2 hours.
You moved in after 2 hours.
So here's the story. I was in Bali and I was staying at. I was going to a mate's that was staying there, and she coincidentally was staying there as well. And then they were like, "All right, you two freaks sleep in the same room." Like she was 4 years celibate. I just came from a sex party the day before. Like polar fucking opposites. Now like this would be funny to see these two fucking weirdos that are in the same room. And so she slept on like the futon on the
What's a
floor.
weirdo?
Like weirdos. Weirdos.
Oh, I thought you meant like a weird, like a weirdos.
Weirdos.
Weirdo.
No, weirdos. Yeah, and then so she slept on the futon on the floor. I slept in the bed, and like nothing happened. But it was like we've been since knowing each other for about 2-3 hours, living in the same
That's hilarious.
house. You know, it was just. But we knew if we liked each other pretty fucking quick, and especially when you're living with each other, it's like, you know, people be like, it's only 2 months in. I'm like, dude, it's 2 months of living together. That's very different to 2 months of dating.
Oh yeah.
Because I've seen like people that would date, they'll date for 6 years, and then they move in and they break up after 6 months. I'm like, bro,
Dude,
save the time.
That's
Move
the real
in.
test. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all a fan. Move in day one, man. Day one.
I actually
So if you want to find your wife, move in. If you like swipe right, just say want to move in. That won't scare him at all.
Tinder.
I actually connected with my now fiance off of Bumble.
I remember Bumble.
Yeah.
Girls talk first.
Oh yeah. And so back in the day, so we actually went to high school together, but we never really talked, and we were always like dating other people. So much later down the road, Bumble had this little thing. I don't know if they have it anymore, but you paid like $1.99 and you could see everyone that swiped right on you. So you didn't have to, yeah.
Ah, fuck, I didn't get it. I would have used that $1.99.
Dude, it was the best $1.99 I've ever spent. And so like I didn't have to swipe on anybody, and I saw her, I recognized her, and I was like, I kind of had a crush on her back in high school, so let me try this out. And then we went on a date and just went from there. So,
I had my own strategy. It was like, so I'm all about efficiency. Like everything's about efficiency.
Oh, yeah.
So mine was like, all right, if I'm going to take a second or two to look at each single one, like, all right, every minute I'll probably go through 15 accounts maybe. The other option is yes. And then it's like match. Ooh. Unmatch. Yes.
see, that's what I was doing.
That was my technique.
That's what I was doing before the $1.99 thing, because I'm all about efficiency too. It's like,
I
dude,
would max it out daily.
It takes too much time to look at everybody. Just like keep going and see. Yeah. and do
Let
it for-
them choose me and me unchoose them.
Absolutely.
I'm so glad. Everyone used to tell me, they're like, oh, you're so shallow. I'm like, wait, how's that got anything to do shallow? I'm not even looking at these girls.
No.
That is a very nice guy.
Yeah.
I am basically Mother Teresa.
I'm gonna have to have you look at my Hinge profile and let me know later on.
Just naked with you, just a fat hog.
Dude, I've had
Naked
all
with
the
the
animals,
spear.
dead animals.
Yeah, that's good.
Everyone's like, "Take the dead animals out."
No, just a massive erect dick, and just say, I like spearfishing, want to get speared.
Just a
You
giant
might,
dildo.
yeah. Well, I mean, shit. You might get a sexual harassment claim, but I mean, hey.
Oh, you mean an actual?
No, I meant your spear is on display.
Oh, I
Yeah,
don't know if
yeah.
that would work.
It would. I mean, you definitely find love. You
hate
definitely
it.
get fucked when you go to prison. I know. I'm just spitballing here. I like that idea.
I don't think it'd work.
All right, well, we can figure out other things. What other hobbies are you into?
Man, outdoors, like
Naked, outdoors. Sorry, I'm stuck on the
you
first
can-
idea.
anything just on the water. If I don't live on the ocean, like if I'm not in the ocean, I'm in the mountains. Like, if I don't live down here, I'm not moving back to like Georgia or North Carolina.
Georgia
North
has good
Carolina.
peaches though.
Yeah, but they don't have mountains. I'm talking real mountains. North Carolina has mountains. Yeah, they have mountains. Like I'm talking real mountains, like Idaho, Montana, Colorado. Those are real mountains, man.
Real mountains. Florida's a pancake state.
It really is.
Yeah, like if you want a good view, just stand on a milk crate. You get to see everything.
You see, there's some hills up in like Ocala, North Florida. Like there's some hills actually. It's like
Really?
you driving through there and it's like what?
The
There's
hills?
Yeah, hills. Not
Fuck.
mountains. Like, I'm talking
It's a
like
hill.
75-foot hills, dude.
You get over in a push bike. No, Florida is wild, dude. I'll give you that. Like do you guys ever like? Have you seen any weird people at the gym, like at Crunch? Maybe you haven't, because I have one, and we've got it on now it'll be a past podcast when this comes out. But I filmed a dude who was in a leg extension, and what he did, he had, like, you know, the leg extension, like it's down there. You're kicking the weights down there.
Mm-hmm.
This dude, probably late 50s, bleach blonde hair, has his head down, and he's training the back of his neck with
The leg extension?
The leg extension.
Interesting.
And it was part of a circuit. Like, he did some other weird shit too, but then I was like, I gotta fucking film this dude. And yeah, he was doing reps. It just looks like he's training for a professional BJ or professional hot dog eating contest. It was just this
That
for
Crunch
like
Fitness
30 fucking reps. Actually, it was a good workout.
Crunch Fitness Benita, I saw a guy in full jean overalls. I'm not talking like some young frat dude trying to be funny. I'm talking like some 50-year-old big dude. Jean overalls. Just jean overalls. Like no shirt on. Jean overalls. You'd be there for like every day. 5
Really?
o'clock in the afternoon.
It's
And
like
he was
Blue
gone.
Oyster vibes.
At
Do you
least
guys
he
remember
was
that?
there, though. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few guys that wear like aviator sunglasses while training in there. And for anyone listening, it's they got lights and it's big, but it's not sunny inside that gym. But yeah, there's another guy. Oh no, he's at a Sporter. There's a guy at a Sporter around the corner, and he's got he's not fat. He's fit, but he's soft. He'll always train with his shirt pulled up to here. Always train, like he just pulls it up and just got his midsection, like almost looks like a crop top.
So it's not a crop top. He literally rolls it up.
Yeah, and but it sits on the top of his stomach, and like sometimes he's got killer calves. Like whatever this dude does for his calves, I need to ask
They're
him.
genetic. Calves are genetic, dude.
Yeah,
Calves are the most genetic muscle in your body, from what I've heard.
Yeah, but he has great calves, and he does it like he just sort of like just dances the whole fucking time. It's fantastic. So I'm gonna have to ask him next
Prounces.
time. He pounces?
Prances.
Yeah.
around those calves.
Dude, prancing works out your calves good. I'm
Yeah,
all
or
for
just
it.
walk on your tippy toes all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, no one's gonna judge you.
Nah.
Not at all. So, Ohio. Where in Ohio are we from?
Columbus, born and raised in Columbus, just outskirts of
Yeah,
Columbus.
yeah. The in-laws, like I literally got back from Columbus last week. With that, we fly into Columbus and then drive.
To West Virginia.
Yeah.
Is your wife like a redneck?
Nah,
West Virginia, dude.
they're on the border. They're like well off West Virginians.
Oh, yeah. Well off rednecks.
Yeah, me and Cuba, brother. They love their guns. Love
Nice.
them. Love them.
You Australians don't like guns, man.
I just don't see the need for them. You know?
Dude,
You know-
kangaroos. What if herd
Yeah,
of
but we-
kangaroos pounces on you?
Yeah, but you're fine. Just get the boxing gloves out. You sort of shit out.
Dude,
They
I
can
wanna-
fight, man.
I want to hunt kangaroo bad.
You can, and we're all cool with it because they're fucking
They're
everywhere.
like squirrels, huh?
Yeah, like big squirrels, and they just they decimate the whole. They're at a point where they are classified a pest.
Really?
Yeah, like we're the only country in the world that eats its coat of arms. Like we eat emu, we eat kangaroo. I've had kangaroo. It's fucking delicious many times.
I want to go to Australia so bad.
You should do it. You should do it.
Bad.
It's a blast. It's different. Like my friend who lived in in LA for 10 years. He goes, the culture in America will sneak up on you. He goes, you'll feel like, yeah, this is fun. He goes, but then you get smacked in the face like 12 to 24 months into it, and you'll be like, oh, this isn't home. And I was like, oh, okay. And it hit me like last month. I was like, oh, fuck, he was right. Like it's just it's different, but like from the food to everything's closer. You don't drive when you're driving. You don't drive as far. Like 20 minutes. I mean, you're getting fucking distance wise next to nowhere. but you get to where you need to go. Like if something's 40 minutes away, most people in Sydney are like, fuck that, dude. Like absolutely fuck
Yeah,
that.
dude, that's like everywhere in Houston.
Dude, that's everywhere
sure.
here.
Yeah.
Everywhere here is like, all right. I spend 3 hours a day in the car because,
Where are you going?
well, driving here to the gym and back, there's like half an hour of driving. You know?
You live a mile from the gym. You live 2.5 miles.
Yeah, and it's still like 12 to
It's
12 to
not
40
that
minutes.
bad. Now in season it'll be bad.
Oh, season it sucks. Camel cock. It's so bad. It's like it becomes 25 minutes on a bad one. But see, with me, my gym when I lived back home was I could walk there in 12 minutes.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And people called me crazy when I walked there.
It's not bad.
It's not bad at all. And that was like, yeah. And then, but if I was, and I worked at the gym, so it worked out even better. But yeah, I'd drive there and it'd be like a 2-minute drive. It was fucking great. Yeah, you should visit. You should definitely visit. It's a long flight though.
I want to kill a dog-tooth tuna.
A
You know,
what? You kill a dog and eat a tuna?
A dog-tooth tuna.
Oh.
Tuna with like giant dog teeth. They're like
They have dog teeth?
They're bad. They're bad bitches. And they're in Australia. They're all over there. I want to go over there.
What's a dog tooth?
So
tooth
down here we have we don't really have them inshore. We have like yellowfin tuna, you have bluefin tuna in the Pacific. Dogtooth tuna are just like mean looking tuna. It's like this thing could literally rip your head off. They don't eat people or anything, but
Really?
it's a very sought after tuna fish, just by spear fishermen.
Interesting.
It's like the ultimate trip. It's the ultimate trip.
How big do they get?
I don't know. They get big. I don't think they get as big as bluefins, but they get a couple 100 pounds. I think
That's pretty big.
it's
Wow.
a big tuna.
I don't like conversion in my head. I'm like, yeah, 100. So they're heavier than me.
That's a big fish.
Yeah. Fuck. I can't say I didn't even know those existed, bro. Like straight up. Whenever you say it, I just think you say.
We're gonna have to get you on the boat.
No, I get seasick. I fucking
No?
hate it. I hate it. I hate it, bro. Like, no chance. I'm
Damn.
in the water, not on the water. Like, and the thing too is like, the water in Australia, like here, it's fucking glass. It's nothing. It's so smooth. But in Australia, I was telling you, like when we go in the ocean, it's like, I'll be swimming in some areas where it's like, what's the conversion? Fuck. 18 feet swell.
Is that just everywhere? Like it's just on shore?
Maybe 18 feet swell. That's overkill. 9 feet
When
swell.
there's storms, or just you just look outside. Oh yeah,
That's normal. No, that's normal.
That's wild, man.
Yeah. So like that on a boat, no fucking chance. Like the first time I was actually on I won't go on cruises because the first cruise we went on, it was going through the heads, which is like they got Sydney Harbour and then there's 2 pieces of land where every boat can come in and out. There was storms then and it was 36 feet swell.
Well, no wonder you get seasick. Dude,
Well,
we'll go
no,
out on
that-
2-foot seas.
Yeah, even that will
tops.
fuck me up. As soon as the ratio of like vertical to horizontal is out of whack, I'm done. I'm done. It's all here, and it's funny because like the first time I ever met my in-laws, they wanted to go to Great Barrier Reef, and I'm like, cool, you can go on your own. I get seasick because they wanted to go out and go scuba diving, and so her mum, my mother-in-law was basically telling me, she's like, seasickness, it's all mental. It's all mental, Blake. It's usually people that are control freaks. It's, you know, if you just learn to let go, it'll be fine. I'm like, okay. Knowing that when they go, you know, fishing, it's out on Aruba. I'm like, all right, that's cute. And so they go down there, and it's actually a storm as well. So I go out with them. It's like through the fucking water, and then I'm feeling a little bit queasy, but I know how to control it too. Like, so I can breathe through it. Like, because she's right, there's an element of mental, but it starts with the physical. And the way I proved it to her was because, I mean, she got hit with seasickness, which was hilarious. The worst out of all of us. Like, she was fucked. Then, so I could feel it. I was meditating through it. I lay out the back, you know, you let it go through. I was out the back for probably an hour, but then everyone wanted to get in the water, and I went, fuck it. I'm sick of feeling this way. So I like deliberately made myself have a panic attack. Like, I worked myself up, hyperventilated, threw up, and I was like, all right, sweet, let's go. And just jumped in the water like I never was sick. And my father-in-law was like,
What just happened?
that's incredible. He's like, you just decided not to be seasick anymore. And I was like, yeah, but I had to throw up first. Like,
You were fine once you're in the water?
what was that?
You were fine when you're in the water?
Yeah, I use them like that. But even like I'd still be weird, but I'm always like, I've gone out to Fiji, fishing trip with my mates, and same thing. I go, bro, go on your own, and they're like, no, man. Like they think they're helping, but like,
That
no, we want to
sucks.
include you, and I'm like, I don't want to. And we went out because it was a fishing trip, and the problem with that is they go into the roughest waters half the time because that's where the best fish are, and it was so fucking nuts. Where like, they're like, just look at the horizon, guys. Just look at the horizon. That's a trick I heard about. And I'm like, cool, but the horizon disappears behind that wave every time we drop below the horizon, guys. And that was one of the worst ones where they were like, yeah, we kind of feel bad. So like, I was throwing up, and like one of the cables comes and catches me while I'm mid chunder, and I'm like, all right, thanks. And then, but then we go into flat water where they're like, all right, Blake, you can jump in the water, jump in, boom. I was like, I was fine. It was like a reset button. And they're like, again, those guys were like, most of the time when people are seasick, they're fucked. Like they got sea legs for a couple hours after. I walked off. I was like, that's better. They're like, what the fuck?
You got to move to the mountains then. You're just not an ocean guy. I get it.
I'm in the ocean, not on the ocean. That's the difference. It's a very big difference. I'll work with the waves. I don't like fighting the waves. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
I guess
Yeah.
you are your
Like going with the flow.
Yeah. I don't go with the flow. That's bad. But no, it's like, so the water there is super, and it's freaking cold, dude. The water
You
is,
have wetsuits on?
nah, we should. But like my mates and I, the wild boys, they're fucking, he'll jump off cliffs like nothing. There was one time where we went out, and this is in the middle of summer, so it's hot, and we've swam probably 100 feet maybe out, not far. I mean, something could probably eat you, but we swim out there, and it's like, even in the middle of the fucking summer, middle of the day, it's so cold that my hands froze up like this. And luckily, I mean, I've been swimming, state swimming and stuff my whole life, and I did water polo, so I was like, all right, I'm just doing like the water polo figure 8 kicks, and I'm just like swimming, holding my fingers to get back in, because like I just couldn't open my hands.
That's miserable.
Wow.
Wetsuit. Damn.
Yeah, and it's salty, like so salty. My wife can't open her eyes when she gets out of the water.
Golly.
Yeah, even our water's brutal, bro.
I still want to go over there.
It's better. It's way bluer. It's
I can't wait.
yeah. You should go. Have you guys traveled outside of like?
Yeah, I grew up in South Africa.
Oh shit, that's
yeah.
wild. That place.
Yeah, dude. I moved there in like kindergarten and stayed there until 5th grade. So yeah, lived there for quite a while.
Have you got any wild stories from South Africa?
Dude, a little bit. I mean, I was just a young kid and I didn't really know what was going on, but this was right after the apartheid ended. And so that was kind of like the 60s in the US was right when I moved over there. Like segregation had just ended. So there was a bunch of like racial tension and dude, like a lot of people in like deep poverty. So there was also a lot of crime. And we had a bodyguard, and I was like, why do we have a bodyguard? And every one of my American friends I went to an international school there. Everyone had a bodyguard, and I just thought it was a normal thing. I thought it was pretty cool. But anyways,
In South Africa, it is normal.
yeah, for sure. And then my dad, he had talked about how he got ransom insurance, and I was like, ransom insurance? Like, that's
South Africa,
crazy.
baby.
Yeah. And so like, I remember one time we were driving to school, and we didn't stop at this stop sign that was right by like the road to get into the school. And we got pulled over, and the bodyguard at the time that I had, like when the cop came up to the door, she was like, I'm not stopping at this stop sign. And the guy was like, why? And she was like, this is where the carjackings occur. And so people would literally be hiding out in the bushes, and they would come and not just like rob you of your car, like they would kill you and then steal your
Yeah.
car. And so like that
So
happened,
wild.
and I was like, whoa. And another time where I was driving to school, we actually saw like, we didn't see it happen, but we saw the aftermath, and there was like bodies on the side of the road. And I was like, oh shit, like this is crazy. But besides that, I mean, not so much crazy, like wild stuff. Like the safaris were awesome. like just going out in the open plains and like you're eating dinner and you see freaking lions like not too far away. That was kind of scary. But like,
see, everyone says Australia is trying to kill you. Like South Africa is everything's trying to kill you,
dude. Seriously, and in our neighborhood too, there was a chicken farm. Like it was still developing. So across the street, there was like there's still landscape where they were going to build some houses, and right across that there was a fence, and then there was a chicken farm on the other side. And one time, like the whole neighborhood was on like high alert, and they were like, "There's a lion running around," and we were all like, "Dude, what's going on?" And apparently, a lion had jumped over the fence, like gotten in there somehow and started eating all these chickens in this person's chicken farm. So yeah, there's like a lion, like literally not even a mile away from my house. Like just we could literally see the chicken farm from our house. So
yeah,
just not too many crazy stuff, but just like kind of out there. Definitely stuff that you would never encounter in the U.S. You know?
Yeah, you know, I mean, maybe in Florida you'll see a lion in your backyard from some home zoo.
I can see that shit happening in Florida. Probably.
Do you know about the Panthers?
I've heard about him. I've heard of the Black Panthers. I hear that's an outlaw group, but
yeah, not quite. they're not down here a lot.
No, the reason I ask is everyone I meet from South Africa has one type of story at least. It's always like, you're from South Africa? Tell me how you've almost died. And like one guy was telling me about when he was young, and he was like, he had all of a sudden his mum runs in, grabs him and his brother, pulls him under the bed, and he just sees his dad walking past the door with just and he's like, okay. And then he looked out the window and there was two guys jumping their fence. And so his dad walks out and like, you know, Gran Torino style, Clint Eastwood fucking get the fuck off my lawn, and literally shot past him to be like, I'm fucking serious.
Wow.
And that's normal because like, remember Oscar Pistorius, paddle feet guy?
Yeah.
That's why it was like, in every, like Australia, when the whole trial was like, it's clear he fucking murdered her. If you knew the context of South Africa, it's not that clear. Like everyone outside of South Africa goes, why would you just start shooting into your bathroom? Why would you do that? But in South Africa, it's like, dude, there's people trying to get into a house all the fucking time down there.
Yeah,
it's wild.
I could see that. We were pretty well off there, and we lived in this like gated community. But one of my dad's coworkers, he was like an executive. I don't know what position he was in, but he actually had to use his ransom insurance because he got kidnapped, like, literally kidnapped. And I forgot what the sum of money it was that they had to pay. Eventually, they got him back, but my dad didn't tell me this until we moved back, and I was like, "Holy crap, dude! Like that literally could have been you." So yeah, I could definitely see like that level of violence. I didn't see it like firsthand. I just saw results and like heard stories from other people too.
What happens if you like reach your max for your ransom insurance? You know, like here it's like, all right, your deductible's $5,000 and it's valid up to $500,000, and the person won't come below $500,000. And they're like, fuck, sorry, bro, you maxed
Dude,
out. I guess you're on your own here.
That's a great question. I honestly have never even thought about that. Insurance companies always try to get you too. So I'm sure there's so many loopholes.
Imagine, yeah, they'll lose loopholes. They're like, hey, look, we said we'd only insure against black people. This guy's a white guy, you know. Sorry about that. Fuck.
Oh man,
that's the time when you really fucking hate him.
Yeah.
How much does health insurance? Oh no, how much does ransom insurance go for? Like, what's your monthly premium?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, like what's a premium for ransom insurance?
Yeah, I never really thought to ask, but that's a great question. I'm sure it's a lot. It's got to be a lot.
I guess it would depend. Like, I'd love to see the parameters that, like, when you're healthy, it's obviously like, all right, based on, are you a smoker? Are you this? Like, your health insurance, your deductible's going to go, or your premium's going to go up because you're high risk. All right, is it like, well, you're worth this much, you're known this well, you live this area, your fence, you know, it's only got one row of barbed wire. If you had 3 rows, we'd take it down $50 a month. Like, what are the variables?
Get a ransom insurance agent.
Fuck
ransom
yeah.
insurance agent on here, dude.
I have to find someone. I'm going to YouTube
stories
this
that
shit.
man would have. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Could you?
I really hope he's legally allowed to tell me, but fuck, ransom insurance agent. And how do you sell that? Go door knocking? Like, that is risky because you're insuring people against people knocking on their doors to hire them. And you're knocking on their door going, look, I'm not trying to break in, but someone else might.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like life insurance, you know? It's like, you know, we're not trying to tell you that you're going to die anytime soon, but it's like a seatbelt, you know? It's just in case.
Yeah, because South Africa is wild because I've met, it's same as Brazil. It's a little bit like that because whenever I meet people in Australia, like, they've grown up and they're trained to every time they're stopped at a light, it's mirror, 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 mirror. Like, it's just constant scanning. Like, is someone walking up the road? Is it like that when they get to Australia, they've still got those on because it's like here. Like, I've run so many stop signs. Don't arrest me, because your stop signs here don't make fucking any sense. You guys love stop signs. They're everywhere. To the point where I'm like, hold on, why is there a stop sign in the middle of this 40-mile-an-hour road? They're like, well, 4-way stop sign. I'm like, dude, make it a giveaway. Like, and I've run easily, I reckon I run a stop sign a week. Like, full pelt.
I'm the same way, man. Red lights at 5 a.m. Go
Okay,
down
I don't do
41. Oh, dude, just blow them all.
Really?
You blow them all.
I don't do that. That's a bit dangerous.
There's no one on the road.
Maybe you need some health insurance, some life insurance.
I'm covered, dude.
Yeah.
I'm covered.
Okay, you are?
Oh,
Good
yeah.
man. Probably a good idea if you're running reds.
Do you have life insurance?
Life insurance? I don't know if I'm worth enough yet. Maybe I should get
Got a wife
some.
and kids, dude. You probably need life insurance.
Yeah, but her life insurance is her in-law, is her parents. Like, they're worth way more than I am.
If you have a
Like,
wealthy family, it's not needed.
yeah, it's not. Like, my father-in-law's saying is he wants to be worth more alive than dead. So then he's like, it's a joke. Like, his wife would like, my mother-in-law would never do anything to him. But it's like his joke of, if my life insurance is worth more, my life is in danger. So yeah, no, we're sweet with that regard. That was the only reason I moved here. It was because I knew moving to another country, I'm fucked from the beginning. Because, like, even getting a mortgage, I work for myself. I need 2 years of it. Like, I
You're
need
done
two.
for.
Yeah,
You have a shot, bub.
yeah. And so I said to my wife, I'm like, you do realize, like, because we're staying at their house because
Do you have like a visa then, or how are you?
Yeah, I got a visa and everything. But the problem is, I mean, I came here, and this is why I wasn't too worried, but it takes longer than, you know, people think. When I came here, I knew 0 people. And it's like, oh, I'm starting a business with 0 people, 0 case studies, 0 people that I've helped succeed yet, trying to sell, you know, video content. They can see my stuff and they're like, wow. But I didn't have any case studies when I first moved here, and no one that could even vouch for me. You know what I mean?
You have balls, dude.
Yeah.
You have balls.
Yeah.
Just to move over here and start a business, like,
Balls or ignorance or delusion. It's one of
no,
those
you're
things.
willing to take a risk
Yeah.
to make your art. You want to go make something, and you're willing to take that risk, and no one's willing to take that risk. Very few people are going to actually take that risk.
Yeah. Well, like I said, take out the in-laws' help, and they're fucking helping so much. But it's like, it's in terms of, it's free accommodation, and they got me a car. I was like, outside of that, oh, and health insurance. That was my one thing. I'm like, bro, health insurance for me for a family of 4 is like $300, and that's like $300 a month, and that's including extras where I claim back fucking probably 200 of that anyway. So I'm like, my deal is you pay for my health insurance, and they're doing it.
Nice.
Because America's, that's a slippery slope, but don't get me started.
Yeah.
Our deductibles are $600 a month.
It's ridiculous.
Like, sorry, our deductibles are $600. When I heard 10,000 once from someone, they're like, yeah, this plan could be a $10,000 deductible. I'm like, what happens if I can't afford the deductible, bro? Like, there's no point having insurance. So yeah, it's wild. It's wild. But yeah, no, that's why I don't have health insurance. Sorry, death insurance. Is it death or life insurance?
Life insurance.
life insurance.
Yeah. It should be called death insurance, isn't it? Because it's a ransom insurance. Because if you're under ransom,
Yeah.
but life insurance, it should be death insurance. Like, it's insurance
Yeah,
from you
right.
dying.
There's another aspect to it, but yeah, you're right.
Other aspect.
There's different types too, where like I actually don't know enough to talk about it. I have a couple of friends that are life
Hey,
insurance
this is not
agents.
financial advice.
Yeah, definitely not. I just have some life insurance agent friends that talk it up a lot.
They're probably yelling at me right now, going, "You're a fucking idiot."
Apparently, there's some good programs where you can like actually pull out and use it towards investments and stuff.
It's 100% of your situation. I want to get married and have 7 kids. I better have life insurance.
Yeah.
Especially for 7 kids. Jeez.
But
Yeah,
if
you
you're
probably should buy a condom first.
no, dude, I'm trying to have 7. I need to start early. I'm waiting. That's why I'm talking, man. If you know anyone.
I'm sure I'll find some hood rat that wants 7 kids.
No, I'm not just looking for anyone. But like,
Oh, he's picky now.
yeah,
He wants to start a franchise and have the good fucking one, huh?
Yeah, I am. But dude, I brought up life insurance at my buddy's bachelor party a couple months ago. These fuckers tore me apart for 45 minutes.
What, the insurance agents?
No, my buddies. I mean, they ripped me apart for 45 minutes
About what?
about whole life insurance. And they, like, I've done hours. I mean, I've done literally days of research, and I have a lot of life insurance now. And they were ripping me apart. They're like, loser, because they're like, Dave Ramsey. They heard a little bit about Dave Ramsey, and then they watched some YouTube videos, and then everyone shits on life insurance. Just like, just buy term, dude. It's like, dude, I bought this life insurance when I was 19 years old.
What's the Dave Ramsey thing?
So there's 2 types of life insurance. Whole life insurance, which is a lot more, but like there's a whole other side to it. Like it's an investment strategy. It's a tax-free investment strategy. And then there's term life insurance, which is you pay $20 a month, and if you die, your beneficiary gets $1 million, $500,000. It's very simpler. Most people that are unhealthy get term life insurance. And so the Dave Ramsey strategy is you get term insurance, you pay $22 a month, and then you invest the difference in the stock market. Invest in the stock market. See how that goes.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, but if you're just a single
Crypto's
guy,
better.
Yeah, thank you. XRP all the way, man. All the way.
I'm Doge, baby. I'm down like 95% on Doge.
I was about to
Not
ask
good.
how far down you are.
Yeah, I wasn't good.
Are you actually into Doge? Like,
Nah, not seriously.
Thank you.
It was one of those things where I was like, I'll put $1,000 on it, see where it goes.
Yeah, see what happens.
Yeah, it went down.
Hey,
Very far down.
well,
Hope it
the
goes to
next
0.
next Bitcoin bull run, it might go up again. You never know.
2025, dude.
It's 2025 now.
After the halving.
Yeah, halving's in 2024, right? Yeah.
So usually, and this is the funny thing. This is where I'm so annoyed at myself. I researched the whole thing and I looked into the stuff. Like ever since obviously 2017 is where everyone started knowing about it. And I sort of dabbled in a little bit, lost money, and then I was looking at Bitcoin when it was like $3,000 in 2017. I was like, I just don't know enough about it. You know, it's too risky, whatever. And then I heard about the halving in 2020, and I was like, oh, it's gonna spike again like 2017 because it did that after the 2012 halving, after the 2016.
Like literally after every halving.
It's 6 months after every single time, in the December after. I was like, oh, okay, I'll put a little bit in, and I think I bought Ethereum at like 600, and like a chunk of it, and it shot up, and I was like, fuck yeah. And then I started buying, I like doing dollar cost averaging, like being safe. And then all the money that I made, I then lost in the rest of it that I invested. I was like, oh, fuck. And I mean, I'm down like 12 grand now. But.
Mostly Bitcoin? Ethereum,
Nah,
Bitcoin?
BTC, Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot.
Yeah.
I put stuff in Shiba. It's like $500. Shiba went up to like 900, and then I was like, sick, and then dropped to 300. I was
A
like, fuck.
respectable portfolio, and then you mentioned Shiba.
Yeah.
I put
Well, because you put in a little bit of dumb coins. Like my majority is BTC, XRP, Cardano, Ethereum. Ethereum I'm more heavier on because it's like it's the currency of what is it, NFTs?
2.0.
Yeah, I don't know when that's happening.
The flipping.
Bro, those gas fees suck. I tried to. I was gonna buy as you can tell, I'm into Vileplume heavily.
What's that?
One of my Pokemon. Yeah, I spent like 30 grand on Pokemon late in the last 2 years.
What?
Yeah, it's a problem.
What's wrong with you?
I haven't got long enough to explain. Like, if you go to my house, I actually have. So this is my only, or one of my few duplicates of this type of Vileplume. I've got 107 variations of Vileplume across so far.
Why?
Actually, no, it's 107. I bought 3 more today. Stamps. It's weird. Like, look, we all have our addictions. I have a rule of like 10% of my money can be bought, like goes towards dumb shit where I'm just like, you're a fucking idiot. And I keep it below 5%.
Pokemon cards?
I grew up with it. How old are you guys?
25.
31.
Yes. 34,
31.
31. So you
Yeah.
probably get it.
Yeah, I still have my Pokemon cards. I'll let you know what kind I have when I get back in town.
I'm building like
How old are you?
34. But I grew up, so nostalgia, like you won't understand nostalgia until you hit like your 30s. You hear about it and you're like, all right, fuck off, dickhead. You're like, and I swear to God, like as soon as, because Pokemon was huge when I was 12. Like people don't understand how
I remember it a little bit.
it was so big though for us that like we were doing trades and everything like normal, but then it got banned at our school because every kid was distracted. There was fights breaking out. Parents were getting involved because like one kid would trade a Blastoise for like 3 commons and the kid would be happy. And then the parent would know what the value of those cards really are and get involved and be like, you have to give it back to little Tommy. And so it got banned. We were so addicted that we would be like, I've got a vivid memory of when I was 12, trading cards behind one of the like temporary classrooms, and we hear a door and we fucking bolt. Like it was like we were dealing drugs,
Right.
because that's what this shit was. And so when it had that massive boost after Logan Paul had his box opening or box break, it just like the prices 10x'd, and I was like, oh shit, like I forgot about this and how much I like it. And yeah, I bought a shitload. Like I lost money on that too, but
Yeah, but
it's like it's a collection now. Like I've got the whole base set, the whole jungle, the whole fossil, and I'm gonna have them in like
What's
frames
that
and
thing
shit.
worth?
Not much. This one's maybe like $60. That one's maybe 60, 70, 80 maybe. This one, I don't even like baseball, but this is a 138-year-old card. It's 1884.
It's cool as shit.
Right?
That's respectable. That's not.
You don't understand Pokemon, my friend. But so like most of them, like these ones are the cheap ones. Like, that's probably $100, just short. That one's like maybe 70. But all the other ones, like my most expensive one's 3,000.
Really?
Yeah, but that was a dumb purchase. I probably could sell it for 1,200.
Which one was that?
First edition Squirtle PSA 10.
Nice.
Yeah. So now you're looking at it now. This looks like a Pokemon's butthole, huh?
I'm starting to question it.
But yeah, no, it's massive. Like I don't know what it is about Vileplume. I wasn't even into Vileplume when I was a kid, but there was just something where I was just like, oh, this is cool. And then it went down a heavy fucking
Are you into shrooms?
rabbit hole. Maybe that is something that's trying to like tell me, because I want to try shrooms, but until I get my citizenship, I'm not allowed to ever have had drugs ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So when I had my visa interview, one of the questions was, have you ever smoked marijuana, taken cocaine, heroin, or any illicit drug? And I was like, no. And she was like, good. You will not be allowed in the country if you had. You can say that you shot, a person. And they'll be like, fine, whatever.
Wow.
But don't say you've ever fucking smoked a spliff. That was a weird like my visa experience was fucking whack, dude.
Tell me about it. I'm curious about this. How does that work?
One, I think I was molested. I had a few questions. So my wife's cousin, she is married to a Dutch guy, and he just got his visa as well. But he didn't have to do half the shit I had to do. Like, it was all archaic shit. Like, one was like, get an X-ray, a full body X-ray. I'm like, for what?
So how does it work? You're living in Australia and you go to like the visa building?
Yeah. So you got to do like all these tests, like medical tests. But the medical tests don't make sense. Like, okay, do you have HIV? Or like those ones, maybe. But those are treatable now, so like whatever. But it was shit like, full body X-ray. I'm like, so what? If I have like a broken rib, I'm not allowed in? Like,
It's
huh?
odd.
The ones that didn't make sense though, like also, have you ever done any drug? Like even had one puff of a spliff, and you're not allowed in the country. The one that was weird was like it was an old school physical. Like it was stripped down to your underwear. I'm like, all right, bit weird first. And this was a lady, so I think she had a thing for me, because it was like stripped down your underwear, and then it was like one, she was like holding here like cough, and I'm like, what the fuck are you trying to find? Like that shit hasn't worked since the 70s, dude. And it was like stretching shit. All right, we'll touch your toes, do this, do that. And she's like, oh, you're better, more flexible than me. I'm like, so what if I can't touch my toes? I can't get in the country too? Like, what the fuck is this? And that was what I had, like, that was part of the shit I had to do to get my, green card.
I understand.
America's whack, bro.
Wanting healthy people coming in the United States, I understand
They
that.
don't want healthy.
That's ironic.
Healthy people don't make money. They want obese people in this country because they make money.
Yeah.
Medical system, food.
Or maybe they just don't want any more obese people. It's like we have too many.
I agree.
The lady after me, the lady that came in after me, I was like, this chick can barely walk.
Don't let her in.
Like, is she gonna let out? Is she gonna get in?
Better not.
It was weird. It was a very weird experience.
Maybe they were just trolling you. I don't know.
I swear there was a camera somewhere. Like, I was like,
How long did the process take?
It was multifaceted. Like, there's that part. There's also like, getting a criminal record proof. There's
Start to finish, what, 6 months?
Yeah. So we were lucky timing because of COVID. So when COVID hit, Trump stopped all processing of visas except for marriage. Because he was like, well, if there's no jobs here, why the fuck are we getting people from other countries to work here? So that sped up our process because it could have taken 12 months, but it ended up happening in like 6, which was wild. Whereas my wife's one, like Australia takes longer. It takes like 2 years. But mine is like, that was just to get a green card, which means I can come here, I can work here. I have all the rights except for I can get deported. Then citizenship, when does that happen? Like 2 years in or 3 years into living here? But I'm still like up in the air about that because then I get taxed wherever I go. Like America is the only country that taxes you if you're not even in the country.
Really?
Yeah, fun fact.
Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's the only country. Like in Australia, it's like they'll tax you if you live there for more than 180 days of the year. But if you don't, they're like, oh, you pay whatever country you're from.
Can I ask you a broad question?
Sure.
How do you and how does Australia in general view America and Americans?
You guys are fucking crazy. But since I've been here, I've kind of looked at Australia like they're fucking crazy sometimes.
You realize that Florida's a little bit different?
Yeah. I tell people, I'm like, what is it? Florida looks at Miami the same way that America looks at Florida.
That's a great way to put it.
That is the same way as how the world views America.
That's good. You got really dead on.
Yeah, like that's how I'd explain the line of everything. It's always just like a common thing. Like if we heard some fucking whack story, we'd be like, "Where's it from? America? Of course it is." But it's like you guys are way more visible. You guys, you have been, your strength as America has been Hollywood. Like you made everything cool. You've penetrated cultures around the world. With that comes a little bit of the other side is it's like, cause you get seen so much, a lot more, like, you got 330 million people or something. You're going to have some whack jobs.
America is the outlier of every country in the history of humanity. Like you have literally every country, every nation in the history of humanity was a dictator, basically. And then you have some 20-year-olds that come over on a boat and decide they don't like Britain, and they start a country founded on freedom and electing a president. Like that was the first time the world has ever done that. And then within 300 years, you get this freak of a nation that makes such advancements. Like I thought about this the other day. No other country's ever done this.
Yeah.
We're the first one.
Yeah. And it's funny too, because I love when people complain. Like, I mean, look, I complain too, but it's like when you're complaining about something, it's like, that's a luxury, right? You're not in China complaining about the government and, walking around fine. You're not in Russia Russia can complain about the government a little bit more. But yeah, it's like, it is quite funny. But the other problem is, and I think this is the issue now, is with that freedom comes division, unfortunately. Because now it's like everyone can be pissed off. They have the right to be pissed off, angry at other people. I have the right as a news outlet to talk salaciously and kind of dramatize shit because what's important to me is making money and I need clicks so my sponsors are happy. It's interesting seeing what's happening here because of freedom.
I was raised on like Fox News conservative. Like Fox News was the religion, like that kind of conservatism. And I
Really come up in Columbus. Columbus is fairly blue, isn't it?
Well, like inner city, you have the city of Columbus, then you have the suburbs, which couldn't be redder.
That is true, actually.
I'm not kidding
it's
you.
It's a blueberry and a tomato soup.
You have 3 cities in Ohio: Cincinnati, Columbus, and Cleveland. The big ones, blue, blue, blue. The entire state is red, except for those like 6 counties around those 3 cities. The entire state's red.
Yeah. Why is it that the more something gets denser, it like goes left, and the more it gets sparse,
City slickers,
it goes
man.
right? It's weird, right?
City slickers are insane. That's why.
It's like that in Texas too.
Yeah, it's weird. You know, like I wonder the reason for it is.
It's the city. It's the city.
I wonder if it's because it's like the more people that there are, the more that governmental bodies can step in.
Liberals
and
live in the city, conservatives live in the country.
But I mean, it's more like, so if you look at the values, it's like right is like deal with it yourself, fuck off, don't bother me. Left is like, no, everyone has to work together. And when you get in a city and it's more dense, there's more of a necessity to work together. But when you're far and you're sparse, you can sort of be like, stay the fuck off my land and let me worry about my own shit. That's my theory.
Could be. And maybe like the more rural and out there areas are just more traditional and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whereas like, you know, inside the city, you might have some people that are more socially progressive and stuff like that. And then also, I don't really know, actually.
It's weird, right?
Yeah. That's something worth looking into.
Like, name one major city here that's Republican.
I don't really know about
Damn
Florida.
city slickers, dude. You come over here and ruin our country. That's what you do.
What about in the reverse? Like, what's a rural area that's blue?
I think you have some parts in the West, like Oregon, California. They've all kind of leached out. The liberals have kind of leached into the rural areas.
Yeah.
A little bit, but not. You can't. I don't think you can pick a. Oh, Yellow Springs, Ohio. Just a bunch of liberals and hippies. Yellow Springs, Ohio.
That's all right. They don't vote though.
They're all right.
They're too
I don't
high.
mind it. I don't mind. I honestly, I'm not in between. Like I'm far right, but like
Really? Did you enjoy QAnon?
Oh, dude, I was convinced
You got sucked into it?
convinced for 3 months that Trump was coming back. And then Trump gave the White House
his
away on
ass lit
January
up.
6th, and I was like,
January
QAnon.
6th came and you're like,
They got me.
I'm taking off my Trump suit.
They got me, dude. They got me for 3 months. I have a good buddy, a good friend. I mean, a good friend. He doesn't talk to me anymore. That found a QAnon. He's still into it. 2 years later, he's like, yeah, Hillary's dead. That Hillary's been assassinated, and Trump's private army. Trump's in the White House right now.
That's good.
And I'm like, you're insane.
Oh, dude, I loved the conspiracy. Like during COVID, dude, I was having a field day. I figured out. I spoke about this on one of my podcasts with Patrick Dearborn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I spoke to him about it. I'm like, I've debunked a couple of them, dude. I know the origins of it. Like, did you guys watch Into the Storm, the QAnon documentary?
No.
Real cool. They actually showed you who Q is.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to spoil it. But like, obviously all these things just come from stories. You know, like even a lot of like whatever your religious thing is fine. But like my belief is just religion is a progression of stories passed down that have, you know, validity and of actual soul to them that penetrates the human soul. And so anyway, that's the same as QAnon. Like a lot of the things I was hearing, I was like, these tap into fears, but I'm like, this comes from somewhere because someone like they've figured it out. The two that were amazing. Do you remember the lizard people?
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you guys seen The Tower? Stephen King's The Tower?
No.
So Stephen King, The Tower, the movie's got Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey. Came out 2019, 2018, I think. And it is these two spheres, and they're like it's like these two spheres meet, and they've got in there. It's got these lizard people who have human skin, but they run the whole shtick.
Is Q like were the Q people into this?
Yeah, this was one. Like, the lizard people comes from QAnon, and I was like, oh, that came from like they've taken this like that. Someone has taken it from this movie, run with it on 4chan or 8chan or whatever the fuck it was, and built it into this QAnon conspiracy of lizard people. I was like, that's amazing. The other one that I ended up finding out, it was another one was like, oh my God, I figured it out. Endocrine, or whatever the thing that you...
Adrenochrome?
Adrenochrome.
Yeah.
So adrenochrome, you know that? Do you know that one? So adrenochrome, the whole thing, to recap it for people who don't know, it's, you know, it's this hormone. So adreno something it does actually exist.
Like it's from their adrenal gland or something like that.
So the thing is, like, it's in children, and the more you scare them, it brings it up. It increases the levels in their body.
Like Monsters Inc.
Yes, yeah, similar like that. And so the more you scare them, the elites will drink them to keep young. You know, so they'll be scaring these poor children by whatever, torturing them or whatever, and then draining their blood to keep young. Remember The Shining?
Yeah.
So the sequel to that, Doctor Strange or Doctor Who? Doctor Strange, I think. No,
Doctor Strange is the Marvel guy.
Doctor Who,
Doctor
something
Who.
like that. Like,
might have been.
No, Doctor Sleep. Fuck, one of the two.
Yeah, something.
It has Ewan McGregor in it.
Yeah,
fucking great movie. So I watched that with my wife at like maybe 2020, 2021, and the whole story is that. So The Shining is a superpower that kid in The Shining had, where he could, whatever it was in that example. The sequel, which is Doctor Sleep, is that there's a lot of these kids being born and they have this thing called The Shining, and it's different superpowers, like they can run super fast, hit super quick, or, you know, whatever it is. And so there's this group of ghouls that are like centuries old. They look like humans, and they're going around, and there's a lot of different ones, but we follow one group in particular. And what they're doing is they're going around trying to find these kids that have The Shining, because what happens is when you kill the kids and you scare them more, their shining comes out of their body, and you have to scare them more, like by stabbing them and whatever it is. And then they'll drink the shining from these kids, and that will keep them young. And that's why they can live for centuries and centuries. So they're constantly hunting these children with the shining. And I was like, as like the story, like the movie started getting halfway through, I go to my wife, I'm like, it's fucking adrenochrome. And I was like, oh my God, that's where it came from. So yeah, so that was two of them, which I was kind of pumped about.
These QAnon people, like I lost friends to the QAnon. Like,
it's exciting. I'm not gonna. I'll give it to them. It's exciting.
believe, like, you don't believe anything you see on the news. If you actually take Fox News or CNN for like at face value, you're on another level. But like, these people want to say they know what's going on. Like my Q buddy wanted to know what he said he knew exactly what was going on in the White House.
Yeah.
They want to act like they are higher above everyone else. They want to act like they know more info than everyone else, and they have an exact knowledge of what's happening and how babies are being sacrificed, and they want to package it up in a little ball and serve it on the Q plate. And it's like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You know 1%. You know 1%. And I think people, they probably are sacrificing babies and drinking blood, but you don't know that, and you don't know the whole theory about it. It's like, dude, just shut up.
Well, we've always been like that though. Like, I mean,
why is that?
It's just humans.
Why?
So humans want to believe we're above the next person, whether or not, like the majority of humans. And so, like, I mean, religion's one of them, you know? I know, like, and again, this is not me trashing on anyone who's religious. It's just like, you speak to some of them, and there's very nice ones. Don't get me wrong. There's very nice ones that are just like, look, I just believe. But then there's other ones that are like, no, I know there's a God. I know. It's like, no, you don't. You believe there's a God. That's fine. But it's like, I know something you don't, because you haven't been privy to God or Allah or something like that. You're not blessed enough to have witnessed God yet. It's been us for fucking who knows how long. And so Q is just the same thing. It tapped into that, oh, I know the truth and everyone's blind. Honestly, it's kind of just like the woke for the right, really. But it's something exciting about being like inside jokes. We love inside jokes.
I think it's my buddy. He wants to go down the Q route because he does not want to go into. He's so capable of being being an entrepreneur, having a great job creating a family, but he wants to use that as an excuse to hide behind it, so he doesn't have to do the real work of growing up. That's what I think most Q people that I've talked to, that is exactly what they're hiding from. They're hiding from life, and they're hiding behind it with this little game in the corner that Q's God, Trump's Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I've heard that before.
Well, I mean, I've heard that for sure. Could you imagine if Christ was Trump? I mean, I feel like the world could do a little bit better than Trump.
Honestly, I kind of played into the conspiracy that QAnon was just a psyop to divide more people.
That could be. It could be a good thing.
Like,
well, the problem is Trump didn't help it. You know, like, again, you watch Into the Storm, and how many people do actually ask him directly about QAnon and Trump. The problem is Trump is a politician, as much as they don't say it, because the way he answers shit is very politician.
But dude, there's probably a couple percent of truth to Q. Trump probably did have someone had a guy in the White House. There probably was a little bit of truth to it. That's how things get so fucked up. It's because there's a little bit of truth to some part, and then they go into it. QAnon is God.
But again, the problem was with Trump was the quickest way he got it debunked. He's like, look, I have no association with this. I'm sorry. And now look, a lot of guys that were down that rabbit hole would be like, he's just saying that to protect it. Like, there's going to be cognitive dissonance regardless.
Oh, yeah.
But he didn't help it because he knew those people were voting for him.
Yeah.
And so he would just say stuff like, they're very special people. Like, that'd be his response. You're like, come on, dude. Like, you can tell this is creating division. Can you just, like, at least try to say, hey, I love you guys, support me. And we are trying to make this a better place.
But you're fucking insane.
But this is not the way we're doing it. You know, like, there could have been, again, and I think if he did that, I mean, look, the left's still going to fucking hate him to a bit, but they would have left stuff to stick with, you know? But, because I had friends too, like, I had one guy in particular who was a client, and he's a fucking smart dude. And he actually does very well, but it was like, as the thing started unraveling, he wouldn't go too aggressive on it, but he'd be like, just wait, man, you're going to be surprised. And I'm like, oh yeah. And then, you know, after Biden gets elected, it was like, you should see, man, there's this, and this happening. This is happening. And, you know, there's some shit about to come out.
I have a guy in the White House.
But he never told me that he was on, like, down the QAnon route. And I was like, I swear he's down the QAnon route. And yeah, the more he spoke about stuff, I was like, all right, he's in the QAnon.
They're elitist. My guy buddy's an elitist.
An elitist? What's that again?
Thinking that you have higher knowledge and higher power than everyone else, and you're the elite group that just knows all this stuff about humanity because.
But they're no different to the guys in the 70s that were like, the government's after my brain. You know, like the tinfoil hat people. Like, everyone likes to shit on QAnon like it's something
there's
new,
a little bit of truth to both of those, is there not?
Yeah.
There's a good bit of truth probably to the tinfoil hat people.
Yeah, but I'm not going to run into a Cosmo Pizza with a fucking AR. But I like that guy because he actually went through with what he was trying to do good. You know, like all these ones that are like, we believe that this is happening. It's like child trafficking is disgusting. It's like, well, I don't see you guys doing anything about it. You're just posting and tweeting from your fucking, you know, your mansion or your slum. That guy I respect. He was like, people are fucking children at this place. I'm going to go do something about it. I kind of like the guy. Free him. Get him out of prison. But yeah. But, I mean, Trump's the first one who used social media. And Biden's not doing a good job.
Can you wait? I cannot wait. I cannot wait until we have Trump. We have the biggest troll back, firing off 37 tweets at 2 a.m. You wake up, there's 37 Trump tweets just across the headlines, just pure chaos. Just all these liberals are crying,
I don't want
screaming.
Trump back. I don't want Trump back.
He's coming back.
The problem is, it's like people can't just say like, you know what? He's just joking. Like it's wild.
Dude, it's politics, and politics are crazy, man. Like, I got my degree in political science. I was taking this degree so I could go to law school eventually, like taking a lot of pre-law classes. But when I took a class on public opinion, and I learned how these political parties use emotion to drive votes and divide people, it is insane.
Yeah.
And it's all a part of the game.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally the strategy. It's like you rile enough people, you get them emotionally involved enough. Like, people act strongly with their emotions. So when you get them in a state of fear or anxiety like it is way easier to control those votes. And when I heard about that and studied that, I was like, dude, there's no way I could ever work in politics.
It's pure manipulation. And it's funny how, like, if you say, I'm not voting, it's like people get angry at you for not voting. Because you're like, look, who gives a shit? Because
That's how I was before.
In Australia, it's like, it's compulsory to vote. And I'd have so many people, they'd be like, who are you voting for? I'm like, doesn't matter. They're like, your vote matters. I'm like, no, it doesn't.
Not anymore.
And they're like, well, you can't complain about whoever's in. I'm like, actually, I can complain because I don't want either. You have to choose both. You have to choose one or the other. I'm like, could you imagine if you told me, all right, here's 2 women you could marry. One is a heroin addict who fucking steals from everyone she knows. The other is one who cheats all the time, who has a coke addiction. But you have to choose one. And I go, I don't want to choose either. Well, no, you have to. It's your responsibility. Like, that's what I feel like politics is. It's like, well, look, you have to choose between the lying fuckwit or the person who can't talk and has people around him lying. Like,
yeah, and then the 2-party system is just like an awful system to have.
Yeah.
And even George Washington was like, dude, this is a bad idea. And then when you have this 2-party system, people don't think for themselves anymore. Like, when's the last time you actually knew someone who looked up every candidate and looked at their viewpoints and voted on them based on their viewpoints and not on party affiliation?
Yeah.
Very few.
Well, it's also so much to know. The problem is there's too much shit going on. Like I barely can keep up with my own life, let alone then you got climate change, you got fucking taxes and different things changing in the mortgage industry. Like, they're my family. It's like, fuck, man.
Do you think we had a fair election in 2020? Just yes or no?
It's too hard to say. Well, it's like, I mean, I'm stealing what Rogan says. Do you think there was zero false? Like, zero?
Do you think the Democrats
fake?
cheated and stole the election?
I don't think so. But I don't think that it was fully clean. I think there was definitely fuckery. But I don't think there was enough to swing a win.
You think Joe Biden won? You think that many people voted for Joe Biden?
I think it was more a lot of very successful people in the middle that were just like, you know what? We're sick of the division. I'm sick of.
We want to go back to the same thing we've had for 300 years. Yeah, we don't like the one guy that was a little bit different.
It's more so. This is the thing where it's like, I mean, it was a wild time where it was like, if the people who the one side that is always like, you should never hit people, you should never do this, you should never yell at someone, you should never body shame them, is the very side going, I want to punch him in the face, or I'll shoot someone if they wear a fucking Trump shirt. But the problem, I just think there was a lot of people that were in the middle class, who were just like, I'm tired of hearing about this guy. Let's just fucking
vote for the old guy with dementia.
Well, Trump got in by most people who were quiet about voting for him. That I think the reverse just happened in 2020, where Biden got in by most people just being like, fuck, I'm just going to do Biden because I want this shit to end. Because even Obama, no one gave a fuck, really. Like, everyone, like, you had a few people that were a little bit about it, but no one cared about politics. He made politics kind of hip and put it in, like, he was first. I love how, like, he was the first president to be in Saturday Night Live or whatever it was. And, like, again, the left is going, the right's going, that's not how a president acts. And then the Trump gets in and he's doing pop culture shit, and the right's going, and the left's going, that's not how a president acts. Like, they're both the same side of the same, like, what is it, the same side of each coin? What the fucking saying
I literally
is?
have not talked about politics since January 6th, 2020.
Really? When your heart got broken?
Dude, I was convinced. I was like, he's not just going to walk away. There's no way.
Did you cry?
Oh, no.
No?
I just checked out. I said, I will never talk about politics
I
again.
can just hear, like, I just got this image of you, like, on your back porch or whatever, just looking dead into the abyss.
Into it.
A camera zooming out just with some sad music, like,
because I knew.
I thought he was Jesus.
I'm willing to accept the reality. Like, I knew that if he does just step away, then all my reality for the last 3 months that I created was bullshit.
At least it was 3 months, bro. It could have been 2-3 years. I didn't realize QAnon had been around for so long. I thought it was like something that was birthed in COVID. but it was around from like 2017 or 2018. It was just that COVID ramped it like crazy up.
Maybe it's just developing the whole time.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Watch that show. It's fucking wild.
Yeah, might check it out.
Because it shows you like the origin of when it started, how it grew through 4chan, then it got banned on 4chan, started at 8chan. They go to the guys who own 8chan, and it's like it's a labyrinth of shit. Like it's so interesting.
And see, I just don't understand like why. Like, you know, it's always fun to entertain conspiracy theories and stuff. Like, it's interesting.
The problem is some come real, like Epstein.
Yeah.
We don't know the
that's
truth
the
anymore.
issue.
We don't know the truth.
Dude.
Well, I think no. The problem is I think we know we don't know the truth, whereas we
A lot of
didn't.
people don't
We
know
didn't
that.
know we didn't know before.
We're aware. The majority of America thinks they know the truth.
I mean, I think
That
they
is
should
true.
release a list. But besides
the list
that,
of the conspiracy theories that have come true.
no, release the list. The list of people that Epstein was like, you know, well acquainted with. There was a list of like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's weird how many people commit suicide though when they like.
right.
when they
like-
get too close
like-
to Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, like if I had 31 or 38 people around me commit suicide, I'd be like, you know what? I think I need to change who I am.
Yeah,
But no one questions anything. Like there's a lot of people that don't like their life.
I don't think the Epstein stuff is a conspiracy. I think it's that was some very real stuff. But like other conspiracy theories, it's just like, why waste your time and energy? Like,
To hide from life.
yeah,
Well,
Hide
exactly.
from
It's
being a man.
It's exciting. It's no different to playing video games.
yeah,
It's the same shit.
It's just like you're playing on your dopamine, and you think you're rewarding yourself by discovering this like knowledge that nobody else knows.
Sedation. It's sedation. It's no more different than alcohol or drugs.
Exactly. While the other people who are much further ahead of you with a higher net worth are actually putting their time and energy towards their craft and what they love in their career, and they're successful. While you're crying in your mom's basement about, you know, Donald Trump and QAnon stuff. Like
Some of these people are fucking hard workers.
some of them are.
I mean, as in like the hours they put into researching this shit.
right. It's
Like some of them are fucking smart. It's
I would
just
call
that
that sloth.
they just got it the wrong way around.
I would call that slothful.
But the intention, like when I hear some of them speak, and I'm like, fuck, you know so much on this. Like I'm talking hours of research. I don't work that hard on my own job.
right.
So I'm like, fuck, if you had these people that just could reroute it a little bit
Yeah.
to something productive, I'm like, you guys would be fucking multimillionaires.
They are attached to a reality they have created. They're so sure about it, and they're not willing. They're not going to listen to anyone.
It is so exciting though.
I think it's pathetic.
Exciting for them.
I think it's pathetic.
I think it's pretty exciting.
I like being excited on stuff that actually
It's
matters.
real.
Yeah.
That exists.
I think it's more like I find it exciting because I'm fascinated by the human condition and the way in which we think. That for me, it's kind of like it's a science experiment. Like when I figured out where those two conspiracies were birthed, I was fucking excited. I was like, oh my God, I cracked the code. And so it's like, I'm no different to these guys because I'm trying to figure out what they don't know, and other people don't know where the origin came from. So maybe I am just a fucking nerd too. Damn.
Yeah. I don't think you're.
Damn. It just went full circle.
Fuck. I'm like the anti-QAnon QAnon. I'm like, people don't know what comes from Stephen King, man. You don't get it. I'm a loser.
I wouldn't say you're a loser.
I would, but I'm okay with it. How we going? Wow, we're going good. That's all right. I'm doing an hour and 40.
Nice.
Time goes. What's the time actually? Shit.
7:30. I have a
Jesus
question for you.
Fuck. Yeah, all right. Shoot the shit.
What do you do, dude? On a daily basis, what do you do?
Jerk off.
No.
On a daily basis, it's a combination of shit. Right now, it's between networking, editing videos, this shit. Most of all that. I'm now doing the house flipping and stuff. Like I'm learning that. I'm just like a kid with ADD that it's like, and I said this to my wife before, I'm like, and she says, that's a problem if you want a family. I'm like, if I could work 14 hours a day, I would. Like I just straight up would. But it's like, it's similar to the QAnon thing. It took me a long time to figure out how to just have something in one lane. So like the podcast makes sense because it's along the lines of I create content. So it's along the lines. And then the new thing with the real estate stuff, I'm basically just putting what I tell other people to do with their company into this thing that will make me money And because one of the issues with what I do, which is creating content, if someone asks you guys, what do you do for work? You can go to my Instagram. You can have a look.
I'm a farmer.
Yeah, I'm
Farm
a farmer.
loans, farm pigs, farm fish.
And farm women. But you know what I mean? Like you can go to your page and it's like your content tells people what you do.
Mm-hmm.
My content, it doesn't tell people what I do because it's like the people go in there, oh, you have a podcast. I'm like, yeah, but that's part of creating content. And that was like one thing where I ended up just going, fuck, how can I do this where it's like it probably might be better to reshift and sell a product doing what I tell other companies to do and then they know that I've got it. And so that's why I was like, all right, with my mate, let's do house flipping and I'm going to do a proof of concept. The problem is this proof of concept is going to take a while because I need to house flip and find investors because of the like it's a little bit of a longer game and I can have like some people who trust me along the way. But now it's like when people come along, they go, oh fuck, you flip houses, you do the wholesaling, you do this, you got a podcast. But now if someone who's an investor or a realtor, they'll be like, hey, I might have like, here's some money or here's like, whatever it is. Because they can grasp what I'm doing. And then I got to figure out another way in which to make it so that they can be like, oh, you also film content. But
this is you're dead on point. This is what I want to touch on is that like we're creating content for our mortgage business. If I did not have a business, I would be off social media. I firmly believe that. If you're just scrolling on Instagram, you don't put out content, you're being a consumer. You're just consuming every day and you don't produce. That is 100% a negative impact on your life. You're a leech. You're consuming other people's content. But if you create content and you have a model that you can actually monetize it with real estate or with mortgages, then that's how you do it. But you don't just create content just to create content. People.
Yeah, but it's funny because that's just the whole thing. And again, it's just this area is getting them to be like, oh, one, what you're charging is fucking cheap, but two, it'll work. Because right now I haven't had a client who hasn't worked for. And it's like, it's at a point where I'm like, well, fuck, I'm at 100% strike rate. At what point are people going to be like, yep, there you go. Like I've got a roofing company. They had a realtor reach out to them after seeing their content after like 2 weeks, which is abnormal. After 2 weeks. And he was like, here's one roof. I like it because you built, like, I like what I saw. I know, like, and trust you to a degree. Over the competition, here's one roof. If you do well, I'll refer the rest of them. But that relationship wouldn't have existed without that content. Then there's, the charity. They did one email last week and they had a huge spike in donations. Like, and then the pest control, my in-laws business, they're on track this year. I mean, I do a lot of other things with like, in that one I got more involved, which was like, basically I'm like fucking building the thing in a way. It's already super successful and it'd be going that way anyway, but they had crazy turnover and I set a goal for them while changing a lot of how they think and act and so on to increase their staff by 50% by the end of the year. And they're about to hire their fourth hire and then they'll have one more for the end of the year will make that goal achieved. But then one of the products, their 4-season service, their net position at the end of last year for last year's 12 months was 160 new ones was their net. This year, at the end of June, it was at 215 is their net. So they've increased, they're basically on track to more than double last year.
Wow.
And that's because they've got a very basic content strategy. Very fucking basic. But they're the only pest control that is showing the humans behind the business. Like, it's showing most of their content is them not working. It's them at staff events, them cooking barbecues. And it's like, okay.
It's so easy.
It's human.
You're just showing yourself. You have these realtors that have their open house flyers and they post literally everything that you're not supposed to post. They post everything but themselves, a video or a picture of their face. They post literally, this is your common average mortgage lender. Your mortgage is actually getting a lot better at it.
I feel like mortgages do like more content than any industry I've
It's
seen
starting
here.
to, dude.
It's
very interesting.
It was because, especially last year, like financial educational content like was trending quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I feel like people are more drawn to that. But with real estate content too, I mean,
Well, that's the thing. Real estate is everyone gives a shit about it.
yeah,
Everyone likes to snoop houses.
yeah.
So show that, like, be the person showing them through the house.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Yeah.
I have a realtor partner in the Texas area. He's all over Texas. And his entire page is just like home tour videos. And he built his entire business off of that. And it's just the exposure factor. And then the houses sell themselves.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just not enough realtors are putting themselves out there. And when you create this type of content, video content, and you know how the algorithms work and it pushes it out to tens of thousands of people. Like I had one video that got 951,000 views. Like how long would it take for me to get in front of 951,000 people? I did
100%.
did it with a 19-second video. Like it's so easy and you don't pay for anything either. Like the money you're spending on the billboards or the radio ads and stuff like that, like content is free. I didn't have to pay for any ads. All I paid for was my equipment to film the content and my time. So
then you realize how hard it is to edit.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then you started paying someone else.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh man, that was a huge weight off my shoulders, but it was fun to learn.
It's true. Well, that's the issue too. Is people don't realize the back end. It's like with mortgages. Like, I want a mortgage. It's like, all right, well, I need this information. Oh, fuck, just tell me how much it's going to be. It's like, all right, it's not that simple. You know? But it's the same. Like a 15-second video is going to take an hour minimum. Like once we get to it, like, I mean, we're at a point now where it takes us maybe half an hour, you know? But that's half an hour knowing our shit, you know, for a 15 to 30-second video. Like the ones you've seen that I've done, I put a little bit more into it. Like the stuff changes a lot more. I'm trying to think of the gag as well, but like a 60-second video will take me 4 hours.
Oh yeah.
You know, and then they're like, "Wait, I'm paying this much for how much?" And I go, "I can charge you hourly. It's gonna suck if I charge you hourly." I'm like, "All right, I'll charge you fucking, let's say $50-$60 an hour." All right, fine. Then you see the bill and it's like $300. They're like, "How?" I go, dude, I offered you 250 before. Like,
yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, and a lot of videographers, editors are very underpaid for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, learning how to do it was fun. Doing it the entire time, kind of a time suck. So at some point, it's good to outsource. And if you're just getting into it, you don't have to learn how to edit. You don't have to do all that stuff. You can always pay someone else to do it.
Yeah.
Like you can literally look up Reels captions on Fiverr.com, and there's people that'll do it for like $10 to $15 per reel.
Yeah. And that's cool because those ones work. Because what we're finding as well is like it's how to change. Like people don't realize that just by, if it captions this way one and then the next one is slightly angled, you know, that makes a big difference with the retention. But you're going to pay for that twist.
Absolutely.
You know? And even like the other ones too, I can't remember from memory with your ones, but like I'll have ones now where I'll actually change the flow of it. So sometimes it'll be a couple of words, but then if I say something like really fucking fast, it'll be like single word pop-ups. So it's like it changes the flow. Even with the subtitles, it changes the flow to make sure the person is like having an emotional experience through that clip.
Yep.
You know? But it's true. It's so funny. Like so many people, I think, lead with the product, not realizing lead with the like what people want. Like Coca-Cola isn't like, we've dropped 3 grams of sugar in this Coca-Cola. No, you got fucking sexy looking people at a beach. The very people who don't drink it. You know, like they sell the emotion.
Sell a story.
Yeah,
Still a story.
Yeah, exactly. And like like the one I noticed recently that's done the best was your hook was how to get a house with a 3% down payment or something like that, or a rental.
Yeah, like I think it was how to buy an investment property with a minimum down payment or a very low down payment, something like that.
And people give a fuck about that because it's like, here's how to not play the game. Well, yeah, here's how to play the game.
Yeah.
And that's going to make me go, okay, hold on. And now if you're the one telling me this, I'm building a relationship with you because I'm like, oh, this guy's being honest.
Mm-hmm.
And because you're the one who's told me, I need to ask you the follow-up question.
Exactly.
You know, like that's what people don't realize. They think that, oh, if I send it to you, or if I do a video and someone sees it, they're going to ask, you know, Joe Blow down the road. Yeah, some of them will. But I think a lot more people would be DMing and be like, what do you mean?
Oh, yeah.
You know?
And that's the point of this content. Like, you know, I give them the main info, but you also don't give them all of the info because it's such a short video. You can't.
Yeah.
You
don't
can't
answer everything.
Yeah, you can't explain all the guidelines, like 35 pages of guidelines in a 30-second video. Like, no way. But you give them enough to pique their interest, and then they reach out with questions. Those questions turn into conversations. Those conversations turn into relationships. Those relationships turn into deals. Those deals turn into referrals. And that wonderful cycle just keeps on repeating itself.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of content, because without making those videos, I would never have been able to get in front of those people.
Yeah. Well, it's like, you know, it's easier. It's impossible to know 100,000 people, but 100,000 people can know you.
Yeah.
You know?
It's crazy.
It's what? Well, I mean, shit. I always say to everyone, I'm like, for example, if a celebrity needs something, they have two options. Ask around, ask their manager or agent, hey, can you look around for this person? Or you put it on on your Instagram story, looking for this. And now you're accessing everyone who follows you. And if they see it, like I followed Chase Hero and he posted looking for a house in Boca Raton, hook a brother up. So I messaged all my group of people that I know. I'm like, who knows a realtor in Boca Raton? And they're like one lady reached out and she goes, I do. Here's his details. I'm like, thanks. Send it to him. Wow. He didn't see it, which sucked. But he found that someone else, he had a house like 2 weeks later in Boca Raton because of his following. And his following is, I mean, quote unquote, only 26,000 people. But it's the type of people that follow him that are useful. Same as like Jay Alvarez. I remember in COVID or just before, he posted on his story, literally black screen, white text. I need this style of a G-Wagon. Like it was like the specs. And he's like, hook a brother up. And he obviously has a few million followers, but like literally on his story next day, got it. Like, it's attention's everything. Mm-hmm. No matter what it is, like everyone just thinks it's for entertaining people.
Yeah, I truly believe like if you sell a product or a service, content will do nothing but help you.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And you don't have to be pretty. Everyone thinks it has to be some model shit.
That's what keeps us from, we know it works. You guys know it works, but it's a matter of why aren't we doing it? We aren't doing it because we're self-conscious about what other people are going to say about us, about how we might look. That's what it is. That's all it is. It's not that complicated.
And here's the deal. Like, even if your video sucks, like your shitty video is better than their non-existent video.
Yeah.
Right? And it only gets better after time.
My first video sucked.
So did mine.
Well, they all do. They all do.
So bad.
Mine were terrible.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, are you willing to, people just aren't willing to get that vulnerable though. People like they're just not willing to make that leap of sucking, of failing.
Yeah. Which is hilarious too, because I mean, fuck, I've had a lot of hate on my internet days, a lot. But and like I've gone through the thing of getting in the fights to the point now where it's like I don't even see if it's a real. Well, sometimes I do if I really want to have a fun troll game. I love trolling; it's so good. Especially during COVID, a lot of people were angry. Especially when I moved here during COVID, and there was one where it was like Rogan posted something about COVID and. Because it was a spoof in Australia taking the shit out of people who weren't, like it was an anti-vaxxer thing, and one of them was like, what's his take? And he's like, dude, what the fuck? And he posted it, and all the comments are Aussies going, you don't fucking live here, you can't speak, like you're not even over here. And I go, valid point. Here's a guy who lived there during the first year and now is in Florida in the second year of it. Like I literally am patient zero who can tell you the difference, because I went from Australia with 0 cases to Florida, which was like COVID county in like the first year to the second year. And so I'm commenting, guys, hey guys, what I just told you, that story. And I can tell you, being over here, Australia is over exaggerating the whole thing, and Australia is being over the top. And because they said, obviously, you know, you haven't been here, shut the fuck up, Rogan, they're going to be like, oh, fair enough. Here's a guy who's been on both sides of the fences. Nah. It was like, you're a fucking idiot. You should like stay there with your family, you fucking dumb. Like just going at me. And this is where I was like, oh, dude, Aussies are just as fucking crazy as Americans. And like all these people were going nuts at me. And I was just like, okay, this is going to be fun. So like some people started trolling me. One guy was like, his handle was I love Melbourne. I was born in Melbourne. And Melbourne's it's the most locked down. It had the record for the most locked down city in the world during COVID. And it also like it's got terrible weather. It's like Florida, but it gets cold. So like it can rain, sunny, cold, windy in the same fucking day. And so I messaged back this guy. I'm like, hey, bro, I'm glad that you some stick at. I thought Melbourne was depressing enough with the weather. Congratulations on making it worse. And he's just like, he starts fucking going on. Like he went to my YouTube and saw my birth video where I'm catching our daughter in the water birth, and he's just like, what kind of fucking idiot takes off his shirt to show off his abs while his wife's giving birth? And I was like, I'm sorry, bro, I didn't have enough time to put my scuba gear on for the bath. Like, what do you want me to do? And he's just going ham at me on this, and he said something about, I can't remember what it was. And I was like, I'm glad you don't live in America because you're giving me mass shooter vibes. And he's just like, someone else comes in and he's just like,
Oh my
he
God.
goes, look, you can talk. America has mass shootings all the time. I'm like, I know it was a joke. And he goes, oh, now that you're like, haven't got a defense, you're just joking. I'm like, okay, this guy's an idiot. On to the next question. On the next one. Like
Yeah,
I
don't
had
engage
so,
with that. I refuse to engage with that.
I was bored.
I won't do that.
It was so fun though.
Yeah,
was
I mean, COVID is a controversial topic, but it's like no matter what you post, I feel like once you get to a certain point, when you get so much exposure, you're just inevitably going to get trolls. Like inevitably.
But they're so fun.
Yeah. But the main thing is just like you don't let it get to you.
Yeah,
know?
you can't.
Like it's just you just go with it. Yeah, you can reply to it if you want, or you could just leave it alone. It's whatever you want to do.
I interact with it so that it further boosts the algorithm. That's why.
Yeah.
So it's like me trolling. If you know me, you read the context in my voice and you're like, this is funny. Like we had one viral video it had 3 million on TikTok and it had maybe 700,000 on Instagram.
Wow.
And it was my daughter, she was probably 6 weeks old and she was asleep, and I went to pick her up and her diaper had blown out and I just got shit on my hand. And so rather than me like picking her up, I went over, got the camera, faked it again, and I was like, it was like this, oh no video.
Mm-hmm.
All the comments were like, safe sleeping, like how bad of a parent I am, how disgusting. I'm like, my daughter's going to grow up with mental issues. I'm like, I don't think she'll remember. But all these ones about how bad of a parent I am and how it's sad that good parents lose children and bad parents like you get to keep them. Like shit like that.
Wow.
And I'm just having fucking fun trolling back. Cause I don't know these people.
Yeah.
My wife will occasionally read some and she'll get fucking, she goes, how do you deal with this? I'm like, I don't know these people. And if they're prepared to give me this much anger and hate, I feel more sorry for them.
Yeah.
But I'm not the one to fix it. So I'm just going to keep trolling.
Yeah.
And yeah, that just kept the thing going up.
Yeah. Helps your engagement for sure.
Yeah. I wouldn't do it on a business related one.
Yeah. And with the mortgage stuff, it's like some people.
This is not business advice, guys.
Yeah. And with the mortgage stuff, it's like people still have a bad taste of lenders after like 2008. And so you'll always get the comments where like, oh, that's bullshit and stuff like that. And it's like, I literally will Google it and tell you what to Google so you can see for yourself. And so sometimes I'll reply to those, but other times I just like let it be.
Yeah. Well, because you're not going to change their opinion.
Yeah. You can't change anybody's opinion over the internet.
Yeah, and they're not there for a discussion.
Right.
They're there to be right.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, that's why it is. It's just, it's whenever people answer dumb shit, you also know that anyone who you would want as a client isn't going to read that and be like, oh my gosh, I think this person's right.
Right.
Because you're not going to attract or even put up with idiots.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so I think that's the thing too, even with the content, half the shit I say on this podcast Stacey's like, are you sure you want to put it out? Like, Stacey's my wife. She's like, are you sure you want to put this out? I'm like, put it this way. If someone watches this and doesn't want to work with me because of this, I don't want to work with them. Because that means I don't like, one, they're not very forgiving. Two, they're not compassionate. And three, they think they're perfect. And she's like, all right. And then, yeah, like I put out the episode with Sid Fernandez about my history being a stripper, going to sex parties and all this sort of shit. And I had more women go, that was fucking hilarious, than I did guys.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like I had women in their 50s come up to me that I know, like I know them anyway, just go, that was so entertaining. You know? But that's it's funny because women in their 50s is the very group that everyone thinks will be offended. Like that's the age of Karens. But that's what got that episode got me more women like in conversation about doing content.
I don't know anyone that's built a brand from not being authentic. Like, yeah, they're out there, but like, it's just absurd, the ROI with the possible ROI with this, but people just too, they think they're just too good for it.
So they're also afraid. They're also afraid, you know?
They're too good to fail. That's what it is. They think
Yeah.
they're too good to fail.
Well, it's the quest. It's not new for the internet though. Like how many people before the internet, you'd go out and you know they're arguing with their spouse, they're fucking angry or something, and you're like, how you going? Yeah, really good. Job works good. You know, it's going really smooth. Like we did it before. Like, you know, we dress up real nice. Like I'm doing really well. It's like, but your bank account's in the red. You know, so it's just the internet has just become bigger in that regard, and it's kind of cool to see like guys like you just going, hey, here's some shit, here's some cool stuff, here's 100% who I am, and if you don't like spearfishing, don't fucking talk to me. But yeah, cool. So do you guys have any more plans with content, or because you've just got a new editor, right?
Yeah. So definitely going to keep up with the short form content. I do plan on getting into more of the long form stuff because it would be nice to just have a library of content that people could refer to, especially like a lot of my content's based on client questions and how I answer them. So sometimes I'll send them my reels, but it's easier to have YouTube there as well. So leaning more into the long form, I think I'm going to be doing that. Plus just going hard with the short form because it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a quick piece of dopamine.
Yeah.
Whereas even the mid form, you're like, this is so painful. Like,
oh yeah, people have such short attention spans these days. It's like, you know, just give them a little bit and give them the info they need to know, and then they could reach out with questions, and then you could go over the long stuff with them.
And the thing too is like they're more likely to, like I always tell people, the short form you build on that attention for a little bit of attention, so that they want to listen to the middle.
Yeah,
you know, like my thing is like if someone's prepared to listen to this podcast, which is 2 fucking hours now, I'm like, that's insane.
Oh yeah,
like listening to people talk for 2 hours is wild.
I like to say that the short form content is good for building your community, like building your online sphere of influence, your online followers, and then the stories is how you engage with them, and the long form content is also how you engage with them too. And that's how they get, you know, the bigger picture, more of you and everything. Short form is great for growing, but it's not that great for engaging, you know.
You have to show up on your stories. I built the majority of my social media, I've built it through stories. I didn't post that much.
That's interesting.
Just being interesting, documenting my life.
Have you seen like a dip in interaction in the last few months with stories? No? Okay.
Why?
I just thought there was. I've seen it. My interaction on my stories has dipped like 50% in the last.
Dude, that's because you're being boring.
Maybe. Put more dick pics up there. No, that's cool. Well, that's good because I'll be interested to see how that goes with you too. Because I mean, it'll be cool. I know it will work, but it'll be interesting to see how it works.
Yeah,
watching people grow, watching Neil grow from when he started, it's just so incredible because like you can watch him go from Texas. It's like, and then they do it. Because a lot of people don't do it, but the ones that do it, like us, like we're 3 people that do it. We'll do it. We'll keep doing it.
Yeah, and if you're not doing it, you've probably got 2 or 3 years before it's like, I reckon 3 years left, 4 years left of social media, I reckon.
Dude,
We're moving. Bro, we're moving to the metaverse faster than people realize. 100%. People like to shit on it.
Can you please define the metaverse?
Not yet, but it's like asking someone, can you define the internet in like 1996? Everyone was
give me
like,
an example of it.
the metaverse is just more immersive. It's going to be more like
VR. Gary, VR is gonna have a VR floating object above their head in 3 years.
yeah. I don't know how far away from the truth he is though. The thing is, it's like we say now, I don't want that. Like if I told our parents 20 years ago
that we would have a computer on our hands,
a computer that tracks you, who knows exactly where you are, knows your movements, knows your buying habits, knows it also is going to audibly record everything, even if it's lying there on your table.
Everything.
It's going to be also the cameras will be in constant recording mode as well.
Literally has more computing power than what Ronald Reagan ran the world with.
But that's not like that they would believe. But the fact that not only would we allow a tracking device on us, we will demand it. And if you don't, if the government was like, hey, you can't have phones anymore, we would be fucking angry.
Oh yeah.
If I told you that 20 years ago, you would be like, there's no fucking chance anyone will be that stupid. But even those very same people, the 50-year-olds, they're addicted to it just as much as the kids. You know, so like in another 10 years, we can say like, there's no way I'm hooking myself up and being addicted to VR. It'll become a point where we don't have a choice, because again, you can say like, oh, I don't want to be on the internet, but you have to be. Like,
Yeah.
do you want to shop? All right, well, it's easy to shop on the internet. Do you want to run a business?
We
Well,
agree
if you
on
don't,
all this, but there will be a point where people will be like, okay, I ain't doing this.
I don't think there is going to be.
I think there will be.
If someone doesn't have a phone today, what's your first question? Really?
Yeah.
What's that
wrong
like?
with you?
Yeah.
You green bubbles.
Yeah. So give that another, like, again, the world's exponentially growing. Give it 15 years. And, bro, I think it's going to be like whatever that guy says. I can't remember. He goes, humans we're the sex organs of robots and we don't even realize it. Like, we are the caterpillar making a cocoon to become a butterfly and we don't know why we're doing it.
Wow.
We just...
I'm interested to see how that plays out. I don't know too much about it to agree or disagree, but I'm interested to see how it plays out.
If there's money in it and there's power in it, it's going to go that way, because again, it's like it'll become the ecosystem that it's like you can't compete if you're not in it. That
There
will
be a
justify
time
it
when
to be in it.
When people say enough is enough. I mean, yes, you need phones, you need computers. You don't have to. Like, there's people with dumb phones. There's people that don't use their
Do you know
computer.
one?
Older people. I know a couple people.
I actually know a younger guy that still has an iPhone 8, but that's about it. I don't know.
Well, I've got an iPhone 8.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
iPhone 8. But it's got the same... This has the same computing power as... What is it? 11?
Huh.
But it's got the body of a 8. Because I just like the thumbprint thing.
Is it really slow?
It's starting to get a little bit slower, but it's not that bad. It's the same as 11, but it was just because I didn't want facial recognition. Now, that doesn't mean everything else isn't being tracked, and doesn't mean that my face is already facially I did a post today, and I don't know if you guys saw it, where I posted literally just the video that Apple Photos automatically creates. Like, you know how they have like those little slideshow things?
Yeah.
It's getting... You can't tell me that artificial intelligence doesn't exist, because the thing is, and this is what is in my description, the video that it created, and it created 5 or 6 just like that without me even asking, by the way. It just did it. And it's like, here you go, I created this for you. It's scanned every single photo and it has facially recognized everyone in my photos. It created an album based around the day Sienna was born. It created another album called Growing Up, and it had her age sequentially through it. Obviously, it can tell by timing.
I haven't seen that yet.
But
That's wild.
the fact that it knew that this was a baby it was looking at, you can't tell me that that's not smart. And then on top of that, knowing the editing skills required to make that video, I was like, 99% of humans can't do this in terms of it would have audio come in, it would J cut, so it would cut my audio short outside of the relevant part. And then what it would do is it would have my audio underneath other images to continue it so it wasn't boring. And then it would come to another thing, and out of a fucking 4-minute video, it would cut one relevant piece of dialogue and put it into the video. I'm like, that's shit that, like, again, if I edited that for a client, they'd probably be like, yeah, cool, I'm happy with that. Granted, the difference is you can't tell it to change anything, whereas you could tell me like, hey, fix this, fix that. But the fact that artificial intelligence can fucking do that, and it's doing it on your phone, it's doing it on everyone's iPhone, literally every day. Every day I've got another 5 slideshows that it curates based on autumn, based on certain memories on a certain fucking topic. And it can tell by what's in the photo and what's in the video. Like Together, it did another one which was Together. It's about me and my wife. And it knew who was my wife and how, like, different memories to have. Like, it's fucked up. And like, people hear about that and they go, yes. But then they're not going to be
how
like...
are they not amazed by it? It's like most people, I've talked to people about this before too, and they're just like, how do you not think that's insane?
They don't understand it. It's the same as when I tell people like, hey, I'm going to charge $250 to edit a 30-second video. They're like, no, the fuck you're not. I'm like, I'm like, that's one, that there's so many things that go into it. And then I go, all right, well, you edit it and do the same thing. And they're like, it's too fucking hard. Took me 25 hours.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's the same thing. If you don't understand it, I think that's why me posting about it didn't hit as hard as people thought, as I thought it would, because they don't understand how hard it is to actually go, okay, this is relevant, this is irrelevant. And
I've thought about posting one before. I'm gonna post. You've encouraged me. I'm gonna post one
because you'll see and you'll be like, what? I mean, I don't know. It depends. I film a lot of shit on my phone.
I do too.
Yeah,
everything.
But it's watch the video later. It's like my last post, but I was just like, what the fuck? Like this is doing J cuts and everything, you know, and everything that it's all relevant to the topic of the title. Wow. Fucking weird, dude. Anyways, we're gonna die and Terminator's gonna take over the world. Gonna wrap it on that. And we're in the Matrix, but we don't even know it.
Hey, I believe that.
So for people trying to, I mean, your details will be in the description, but how can they reach you boys?
Instagram, Stephen Michael Calabrese.
Yeah, Instagram's good for me too. Shane_Zorn.
Insta baby. Do you guys post on TikTok as well?
Yeah.
I got banned. First video I got banned.
Dick pics?
Really?
You showed your spear, didn't you?
I had fake pictures of dead animals.
PETA came after him.
PETA. Isn't it funny? You can't show a dead animal, but you can show borderline vag lips.
Oh, you can. It's absurd.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Fine. All right.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
You
TikTok.
might be unbanned by now.
They killed my algorithm, I think, because I posted a couple other videos and they get like 70 views.
Wow. Oh, no, that's a new algorithm. It's just weird. It's whack. I'll have a video hit like 700,000 views and the next one's like 200
views. It takes a long
views.
time to build up too on TikTok. Yeah. It's not right away.
They definitely reward consistency, I think. But it's the same thing. Like you go to my personal one, not my podcast one, and it's like 10 million, 4 million, 200 views. You're like, huh? And then it's like I'll have months. I tell people, I'm like, you don't want to go viral. Viral is actually the killer of motivation for a lot of people, and I was guilty of it. I've had a bunch of, I'll be like, I'll hustle and I'll be in the grass and I'll have a viral video or two in a row and I'm like, yes. And then I'll go back in the grass again, lose the steam because I'm pissed off.
Yeah. 6
months later, I'm like, all right, back to the grind.
Dude,
1 million views, fuck yeah. 500,000 views, fuck yeah. 100, 200 views, 100. I'm like, fuck this. I'm back out again. Like, I gotta just.
You're extremely niched on TikTok?
No, this was like my family shit. So what I'm testing with the podcast is just podcast clips. And I'm gonna start throwing in like more. The problem is, well, with my stuff, it's like I said, it's too it's too strange. Like, all right,
what is your niche? It's like, what is your topic?
There is
like,
a niche.
That's the thing. It's like right now with what I do with creating
TikTok,
content.
It doesn't work too well.
When I start doing the flipping and stuff, it will. because then there is something relevant. But before that, it was just, mine was a podcast. It was just like, hey, here's some entertaining random ones, like whatever. And I couldn't post about like, this is what you should do with videos and blah, blah, blah. It's a weird one. So now that I've got something, because that's where I think your success is too. It's like, all right, mortgages, finance, this, we're going to feed it to these people. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And now that I've got like, I didn't have anything to have my finger in a niche. Now with the house and stuff, we'll see.
I give you props, dude. You got balls for doing it. You too. A lot of
Appreciate it,
people
man.
don't do it.
It's fun.
Yeah.
You show a lot of spears.
Couple.
Couple. All right, cool. We're gonna wrap it. It's fucking late.
Oh yeah.
You guys are officially the latest. So the first time I've had a threesome with two boys, and this is the latest I've been on a podcast. So it was fun.
Yeah.
Good to meet you. Enjoy Texas.
Absolutely.
Come back again.
Will
I might
do.
visit you in Texas. We want to go. My wife and I want to go check it out.
Dude, let me know.
Yeah. Want to check out real estate there? I might actually if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show you
We'll
around.
talk after this actually.
If you don't get deported.
Huh?
If you don't get deported.
I'm not going to touch drugs until I have my citizenship. So I'll be fine. All right, cool. Well, guys, if you haven't subscribed, why the fuck not? So, love you. Bye.